Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ReelTok, episode 114. My name is George, sat, as always, alongside my beautiful and intelligent co-host, Mr. Tyler Whitmore, Mr. Seth's Film Reviews, and Mr. Cam Walsh 27. We got a pretty packed episode today, couple of movie reviews. We're going to do a little fun autumn, fall vibe, New York episode, and then we got some fairly big news that came out that we're going to talk about towards the end of our episode. As always, shout out to our executive producers, Mr. Stefan Johnson and Devin Willett. You guys are absolute kings. Shout out to all of our patrons for being active in the Discord and just keeping us going every week. Heretic. I kept saying heretic.
I keep saying it wrong all the time.
Dude, I kept saying heretic until I saw K Meeks's TikTok, and he said heretic, and I was like, did he just pronounce that wrong, or have I been? So I typed it into Google and did pronounce, and found out that I was in fact incorrect. It is heretic. But heretic, Tyler and I will talk about. Blitz, Cam and Tyler will talk about, and then Bird, Seth, and I will talk about. So we got a mix of a couple movie reviews. Let's just get right into it, gentlemen. How are we doing? What have we been watching? Cam, we'll start with you. What's going on?
Or not?
Me?
Right.
Are we starting with me?
No, I'm not starting with you
cut
now.
out. Okay, well, you cut out, and so I was just really hoping.
Wait, did I cut out or did Cam cut out?
No, you're crystal clear, Georgie.
No, I might.
You want to start with someone else?
Seth, we will start with you.
Yeah, there is. Week's been good, busy work wise. Had a couple of stuff this week. Supposed to go. I don't know whether it's going to that Dune thing next week. They're doing Prophecy. It's annoying because I got invited to see Gladiator next week as well, so I'm not sure what I'm going to prioritize really. Gladiator's in 4DX though. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a film in 4DX.
Saw Furiosa in 4DX.
I haven't ever seen it in 4DX, and I don't really know if I care.
I don't think you'll enjoy 4DX.
Well, I just feel like it sounds quite distracting,
It's not. It's vibe, I think Furiosa is a great movie to watch 4DX in. I know Sophie also saw Twisters in 4DX, and she said that was one of her favorite theater experiences.
That makes sense.
I'm just going off me knowing you on a more personal level and telling you I don't think you'll enjoy 4DX. It is aggressive. I don't know how aggressive it'll be in Gladiator. Furiosa is a car racing movie, and Twisters is about tornadoes. So I don't know how aggressive it'll be.
Maybe a rhino will just come in or something.
Oh, Gladiator 2. It's not the re-release of
2.
Then maybe it will be a little
kind of crazy.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Personally. I don't know. Well, it can't be that crazy because it's like an event that's like a black tie event. So I'm like, can it really be that? Do you know what I mean? Can it be that crazy?
4DX is an interesting theater to choose for an event.
I know. I've never had an event in 4DX. Week's been good. Really, really busy. Pretty fucking. Actually, week's been shit, but really busy. Always take my mind off it. I watched a few films this week. Nothing crazy. I watched that Mads. I think George, you mentioned it on last podcast. The French one-shot horror. It's pretty good, man. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I think you'd probably like it as well. It's a really interesting take. It's basically like a infected zombie movie, but like a really creative spin on it. It's only 80 minutes long, and it's got a lot of crazy shit. It's very similar to Gaspar Noé and then kind of French extremity and stuff like that. It's kind of wild, so that was quite cool. I watched the new Cillian Murphy film, Small Things Like These. I wasn't a fan personally. It's a difficult one because it's one of those where I understand the film's point and direction, but it's also just doesn't work for me because it's an adapted screenplay of an Irish novel. Cillian Murphy was great, but didn't really do it for me. I rewatched Return of the Jedi as well because I've been going through the Star Wars films. Well, I will say this, Cameron. So I've said for ages that I think I never disliked Return of the Jedi, but I always said that it was massively the weak spot of the OG trilogy. And I still think it's the weak spot, but not like quite as much anymore. I definitely liked it more this time around. I think it's just like the opening and the ending. Like it has one of the best endings in Star Wars, which really boosts up. Like the final half an hour is so good.
Is hard. They're like is the weakest part, no doubt.
Yeah, it's like the bits with the things. Like it's like there's like a middle section, like 45 minutes that just feels so muddled and like placed in there for little reason.
Here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact on the Ewoks. Warwick Davis is like notably known as the Yip whatever the Ewok is. Very notably known as like Warwick Davis is pretty famous. Most people know him. The Yip was supposed to be played by the person who played R2-D2 and who was in the suit for R2-D2, but he got sick like the morning of. So they had a bunch of stand-ins, and Warwick Davis was like a really good stand-in, I guess. Like not stand-in, but like they had a bunch of extras who were playing the other Ewoks. So that's how he got the main role. There's your fun fact of the day. And then he became relatively famous, became like Willow and does a bunch of other things. But yeah, shout out Warwick Davis.
It's not even the fact I dislike the Ewoks. I just think it's such a weird sequence. You know, when like you introduce them, it's like, what are we doing, man? But yeah, the ending's really great. And I definitely enjoyed it this time. Like it went from like a 3 to a 3.5. It's actually bumped up my Star Wars ranking a bit. The only one I haven't rewatched in the past sort of 2 years is A New Hope. So I'll definitely get around to that again because I think that'll probably.
I thought you were going to say Rise of Skywalker.
No, I watched that.
Sorry, you rewatched that.
No, that wasn't the rewatch. That was the first watch.
I
hadn't seen the sequel trilogy until like 6 months ago.
I forgot. Yeah.
I like a tweet. Yeah, it's terrible. Well, like I tweeted the other day. I think for me, that's like the only one that I like hated. Yeah. The others I have a good time with. Watched Bird, obviously we talk about, and Heretic, which obviously we speak about last night. I watched that last night. And then watched There Will Be Blood, which is our Patreon review for the week. Rewatch for me. Obviously, we'll go over that on there. And yeah, that's kind of about it for me this week.
Very nice. Very nice. I kind of hope you go to 40X Gladiator too, because I just want to hear about your experience. But again, I'll put a caution tag on that one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Tyler, you had a busy week with new releases. You, on top of what we're going to talk about in Blitz, you also saw Here, The Outrun, and A Different Man, which I'm actually surprised none of us have seen A Different Man up until now. It's kind of been out for a month
I was meant to see it last week, but I didn't get a chance. I think me and Mom are going to go see it next week. It's getting really good reviews.
Maybe it's me, but I feel like all like Sebastian Stan's like marketing efforts and promotional efforts have been on The Apprentice, that I just haven't heard anything about A Different Man. Unless I'm just on the wrong side of Twitter. But Tyler, how are these movies? How was your week?
Yeah, week was solid. Going back to the 40X thing, I've never seen a movie in 40X, but I feel like it's a rewatch type of experience. I feel like I wouldn't ever want to experience a movie for the first time in 40X, but hey, who knows?
Gladiator 2, they're just going to come out and stab you.
Yeah. For Heretic, and maybe you'll talk about this when you get to the movie, but wasn't there like some disgusting film news that they were going to like pipe in the smell of blueberries in some theaters? I swear.
Yeah, that was definitely I know a report. It's not in everything. It was like in like
is blueberries. I mean, this is hopefully is blueberries a thing in the movie? There are blueberries in the movie? Okay.
Yes.
So there was like 5 theaters. So like George probably like the Lincoln Square one probably would have been one of them, but maybe not your showing. But
I think I actually went to Times Square for this one.
Well, I don't know. On some blueberry pie smells or something. I don't know, but yeah, the week was all right. Yesterday, Riley and I did a ton of landscaping. We're finishing our backyards, like moving a ton of rock out and putting down like a patio. So yesterday was a big manual labor day. So then my watches got cut short yesterday, so I did not see. Here was the only one you mentioned that I did not see, just because like by the end of the night I was like, I'm too tired. I need to call it a day. And by the end of the night, I mean like by like 7 o'clock, I was like, there's no way I'm going to focus on like actual movies now. And also here's a movie that I know I feel like I'm not going to like. So it's like, I was like, I'm going to at least give it the benefit of the doubt and not be in like a bad mood and go see it. Cause that's just like no shot. I'm going to give it a fair shake at that point. But other than that,
what movie was that?
Here, the Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, I thought you said here's a movie that you thought you were going to like and then go
the
on.
living room movie.
But
not seen good things about here.
I've seen like either
seen a
really
couple
great
people like
things or really terrible things.
Yeah,
That's the
I
kind of
don't think I'll like it, but we'll see.
No.
Yeah, the week was fine. I leave in less than 24 hours to go to Pennsylvania for the week. And that always stresses me out, just having to travel. So it's like spending today, like getting stuff prepared and prepped and all set before I leave. So that's never fun, but we'll see. Also, like every flight I take for work, like has layovers, which is just ass. It just sucks. So I got to like fly from Phoenix to Atlanta and then Atlanta up to Baltimore and then drive to Pennsylvania. It's just always a mess. It's just a long ass day of travel. Never fun. But for watches this week, didn't watch a whole lot in terms of during the week. It really was just like once the weekend started, I was just catching up on new releases. So I watched 2 Saoirse Ronan films. One of them I'll talk about a little later, Blitz, because that's the one that officially came out this week. And then the Outrun released on VOD this week. So if anyone hadn't seen it, I don't even know when it came out. I think many months ago, but now it's like on
a month ago, I think.
Rent it or whatever. I think it was initially like Sundance. Possibly, I don't know, one of those earlier year film festivals, but I really like Saoirse Ronan in this movie. I think it was one of her best performances. She has to kind of carry the weight of the entire movie on her back. She's getting Oscar buzz for both Blitz and the Outrun being a lead actress and Blitz being supporting actress. But I think, the Outrun isn't my favorite movie of hers by a long stretch. I ended up giving the movie a 3-star, but obviously if it's going to get Saoirse Ronan another nomination or even a win, but obviously Mikey Madison's a strong favorite there, but if she at least gets another nomination, I'll be happy just because I like to see her keep on winning. But pretty powerful meditation on alcoholism and its effects on families, and obviously, namely Saoirse Ronan's character in this film. It's another nonlinear narrative, just like We Live in Time. So those are like who's back of 2024 nonlinear films. It's I don't know, seen 2 of them within a week, so I'm going to officially call it a trend. But it's a quiet movie. Really explores just like it and I really didn't like We Live in Time's nonlinear narrative because I felt like it didn't help us get a feeling that they were actually like together for 10 plus years. Like I felt like it was like a little too disjointed for me to fully connect, whereas for the Outrun, I feel like it makes a ton more logical sense to be a nonlinear narrative because like alcohol is disrupting her life, so it's like just scrambling. Her relationship's getting ruined, her family, trying to figure out what she's going to do with her life, what her job's going to be, what her purpose is in this world, like succeeding in a career, failing in a career. I felt like the nonlinear aspect of that like works really well for like the alcoholic vibe they're going for with how it's impacting her life. A lot of commentary on like spirituality as well. The difference between her being more like a free wandering soul versus like her mother being like a strong woman of faith. But yeah, it was fine. I gave it a 3-star. Like I said, I think Saoirse Ronan's great in it. I think it's a pretty well done commentary on alcoholism and its effects on this woman Rona's life. But I think most people watch it and say it's fine. I saw a couple of reviews that people really, really like it, but I think for the most part, a lot of people are like, it's a solid movie. Nothing really better or worse than that. And then A Different Man, I would highly recommend everyone listen to this and you all to watch. It's one of my favorite surprises of the year. Sebastian Stan just continues to pick such interesting movies to be a part of. And I do agree with George. Like I did see press for this initially when it came out. I think it was one of the film festivals earlier this year, but The Apprentice definitely was the more buzzy like clips to get views for places on Twitter and media outlets. So that started to really take over for Sebastian Stan. But I was really surprised by Different Man. Obviously with the Substance coming out this year, like, and they're being released so close to each other, it's going to be natural that people are going to compare the two. Because the Substance, take a drug to make you look younger and more, conventionally attractive, and then A Different Man is someone with deformities and their face being, not what the stereotypical beauty standards are. So they undergo a procedure to become looking like a normal person, to look like, Sebastian Stan. So that's kind of what the plot of this movie is. So, 2 very similar-ish ideas, but one's kind of tackling beauty standards with and aging with the Substance, whereas A Different Man's more about disability and deformity and how people view that in society. Really, really like this one. Adam Pearson, the guy, you see alongside Sebastian Stan in all the interviews, like he's so awesome. Like his charisma is insane because basically like the way the movie goes is, and this isn't spoiling, it's just a plot of the movie. He undergoes this procedure, starts looking like Sebastian Stan, and then quickly realizes like this isn't what's making him happy. Like this is, people liked him for the person he was. They didn't really care about his looks. And Adam Pearson, has a similar looking deformity to him, and he starts to be around him more and realizes people like love Adam Pearson and are starting to forget about him. And he starts to just go genuinely like crazy at the fact that, he did all this to change who he was, and people still don't seem to be treating him any better and seem to be, drawn to another guy even more. I also really like Renata Reinsva, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She's from The Worst Person in the World. Big fan of her. She's in this as well.
Is she the main?
Yeah, she's like, she's like his neighbor and somewhat romance interest. But yeah, she's also a playwright in. I can't remember. I think this movie's New York City. I could be talking about my ass. It's a major city where plays happen. So I'm going to guess New York City, but this is possible. It was some other one, but she's like a playwright and like hiring for it. And, there's a lot of commentary on like hiring people with like a distinct look or deformity and like the morality of that. Like, are you hiring them because, they look a certain way? You're like, oh, this could be great for, what I need them for. Or are you like hiring them just because like the person they are? And then also just like the main commentary of like, are people with deformities or disabilities, like, are they spending every day of their life being like, man, I hate myself, I wish I was different? Or are they just like a normal person? I just thought it was like it tackled so much in such a great way. It's under 2 hours as well. So it was able to have so much commentary laced in there while also being just really well done and effective. So I feel like kind of did everything the Substance did, but just like a little better. There's definitely like stark differences there, but they're both really funny movies, which with the subject matter they're both tackling, you wouldn't think they're not really funny, but I thought they were both really funny. So I had a great time with A Different Man. 4.5, one of my favorites of the year. So I would highly recommend it. And then other than that, I'll talk about Blitz later. There Would Be Blood as well. I rewatched The Shining. I thought it worked a lot better for me on rewatch, and it's been over almost 3 years, but it was definitely better on rewatch. Really, really keen to watch Dr. Sleep now at this point, but I was going to do that last time, but didn't get around to it. I don't know. I see a lot of people love Dr.
I thought
Sleep.
people like Dr. Sleep.
Yeah,
I seen it, but I thought people liked it.
People do.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Dr. Sleep.
It's just mid.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Dr. Sleep since you're a big Mike Flanagan.
The Shining, more slop.
Honestly, though, it is a franchise, but
it is, man.
But
don't they have a hotel like the Overlook Hotel, like show or something?
I don't know. I mean, you can
stay in the
Overlook Hotel.
I don't think so.
I think there's a show. Okay, if you could stay at the hotel, then it's practically a theme park. Slop.
Real.
Anything that isn't a one-off standalone movie is slop now.
It's all slop.
And the last time before bed, I really wanted a Christmas movie, so I watched Jingle All the Way.
Are you thinking of Bates Motel, by the way, Cam?
No, I thought, offshoot series Overlook from Bad Robot.
Oh, you Carmi,
not going forward at 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So it
was on the verge of slop.
It avoided the slop.
It held back.
Yeah, it was almost.
I didn't know that, honestly.
Okay, almost slop. I think I've been thinking a lot about my slop rant, and I think it's once you just get outside of the main films, that's when it becomes slop. So Harry Potter with the Fantastic Beasts, I still stand by is slop. Just saying. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Where I'm at.
Fair enough. We'll keep continuing the slop rant every week when we bring up new and improved slop.
Slop's good. Slop's yummy.
So is the Batman slop?
Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy.
Well,
it's highest level.
That was before. I mean, the Batman in general is just slop.
Yeah.
Because everything in the Batman that like you see Harvey Dent or some shit, or I guess he's not in the Batman. I was thinking of Joker Folie à Deux. But if you see like ending it with Joker, the only reason they ended it with Joker is so that you could put that mush right in your mouth and just enjoy it. Like of course it's slop. It's good.
And then they dropped the deleted scene like a month later.
Yeah, exactly, man. They just want you to consume slop, man. That's all they want. That's all they're looking for.
My week was fine. Last Sunday was Marathon Sunday here in the city. Surprisingly, well, we got up. Oh, I didn't run the marathon. That's
I know.
Dude. I tell this to Victoria all the time, and no disrespect to anyone watching who does this, but I am so happy that her family isn't like a turkey trot marathon running.
Not a turkey trot fan.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Like people on Thanksgiving, like wake up and run like 5 or 10 Ks. It's like just the tradition. And
that's
like
cool.
they make
no.
Boo, this guy never celebrating Thanksgiving.
Tomato.
Boo. Yeah, that's just
I respect everyone that is a turkey trotter.
Listen, I respect everyone that's turkey trotter. I'm just happy that my family or Victoria's family is not. All right. I'm not anti-exercise. I'm anti-running.
I fully respect like the mindset is right. You work out so that you can eat as much as possible.
Correct.
Thanksgiving is
a negative mindset to have. I'll be fair.
Thanksgiving.
No, I have that mindset every time I work out. The only reason I work out nowadays is one, it's very therapeutic, and two, it's so I could eat my insane amount of calories every single day.
That is an eating disorder, George. We need to talk about that one.
All right.
That is an eating disorder.
Come on now. So I enjoy food. You know, I had 4 souvlaki last night. Food. Like I can't be doing that if I don't work out.
How'd that work out for you?
That didn't work out well. Crazy. Listen, I respect you if you run. I do. I end all of my workouts with a mile, either walk or like a 2-mile run. If I'm doing cardio, I'm way more of a let me play tennis. Let me play whatever, basketball. Let me go on a bike ride. Peak COVID. I don't know if you guys know this. Peak COVID. All right. Gym's closed. Can't do anything. Dude, I was biking insane amounts with my friends. Like we would be just getting up on the weekends doing 40, 50-mile bike ride on the shore of Long Island or New Jersey. It got weird. But running,
I would run so much in COVID.
It's like one form of exercise that I've just never gotten into.
Even if you're like away and there's like, you know, like really nice views, you can go out on the beach.
I'll go on a walk.
It's pretty therapeutic.
I go on walks all the time. I go, I'll walk miles through Central Park or just get to Fifth Avenue and just walk all the way downtown to World Trade, which is a couple miles. But I just running,
isn't it?
Running is just not my thing. I don't know. I've just never grown to love it.
My oldest sister's like a big time marathoner. I think she's ran like 7, 8. She did New York. The reason I met you in New York City was I was there because she was running the
I remember
marathon
that.
like 3 years ago. She's done the London Marathon. Like
I'm not built for
it's like a marathon a year for the past like decade.
Like why? Is she okay?
I don't know.
Is she a turkey trotter?
I think she is, but she's more like
the
type that's like, oh, my whole family is at home in bed, but I'm out here running type. So like not family driven.
Honestly, I'm just a generational hater. I think. I just think you just
the thing is like, and Seth wouldn't realize this, like being in the UK and like not part of the culture, but it's like it feels very like cult like too. It's like a very weird. Like,
it's like you have to do it. Like
I'd probably do it. You know. I'd probably be one of those guys. Sorry,
dude. I
mean, it's fine to do the run, but like the whole family, like getting up, like dragging.
Oh no, I'd do it on my own. I wouldn't go
dragging the kids out.
Oh yeah, fuck that. Yeah.
Also, there's so much traffic already on Thanksgiving, and now you're blocking off streets for a trot. Like, come on, people, come on.
Yeah,
just like
ReelTok Podcast, anti-turkey
trot.
All right, anti-turkey trot. All right. But yeah, Marathon Sunday was last Sunday. Surprisingly, the first time Victoria and I have like participated. We obviously didn't run, but it's like a huge event. Like people wake up early. You go, you drink mimosas. You go to First Avenue over here on the Upper East Side because they run straight at like right here is First Avenue, and they run straight past my apartment. So the streets for hours are just lined with people just hammered in the streets of New York, drunk, holding up signs, cheering, high-fiving random runners they don't even know. So it's fun. It's like the event of the marathon is a very fun culture in the city. Running the marathon is not. That doesn't seem like fun. So we had a fun marathon Sunday, and then Victoria is big on Christmas. So once November hits, that tree goes up. So we have our Christmas tree up over here. That's what we spent. Dude, look at this.
You crazy cat.
No way. We do it the day after Thanksgiving.
See that bad boy?
When's Thanksgiving? Like
the
27th
the last Thursday.
Yeah, it's the last Thursday of November.
But yeah, Victoria just bypasses Thanksgiving. Once we hit November,
I respect that. I respect that play.
Same thing today. She went home this week. She's not here. She went home back to her parents this weekend because her mom is putting up all the Christmas decorations at home, and Victoria wanted to help out. Once November hits, they throw it
good
out.
Vibes.
Yeah, good vibes. Listen,
I love it.
I enjoy the vibes.
Nothing wrong with getting decorations up a little early and extending the season a bit.
Listen,
there's something wrong with turkey trotting. There's nothing wrong with this.
That is correct.
Yeah. That's the stance I'll make.
So yeah, we have all our Christmas decorations just all around our apartment. I would take you guys on a tour, but I don't really want to get up. Other than the marathon and some Thanksgiving, Jesus, now I got Thanksgiving on my mind. Christmas stuff. Week was a bit on the slower side. Even like movie watching. I only watched 4 movies since we spoke last on the podcast. 2 of which being new releases, Heretic and Bird, which we'll talk about. And then I rewatched Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Great movie.
Good film.
It's
cool film.
The more I watch it as I get older, it's like I'm realizing more and more that it's just a massive event film, which is not a problem, obviously. Like it's like an end game. I
like it.
Whereas like, no, I still love it. It's still 4.5. The movie's fantastic. But it is such a massive event film. Like that, I think Deathly Hallows Part 2. When did that come out? 2011. So no, it wasn't
2012, 2011,
2011. Yeah. So that was one of the few films that I like. Remember when like movies used to come out at midnight?
Yeah,
Instead of Thursday at like 6 p.m., they came out Friday at 12 a.m. So Deathly Hallows Part 2 was like one of the few midnight premieres that I went to.
Force Awakens.
Yeah, Force Awakens as well. The Joss Whedon Avengers, I did the midnight premiere for that. So yeah, that like the whole culture around like event films and midnight premieres, we need that back. That shit is so much fun. And I rewatched.
But now they do like you can go at like Thursday at like 7.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't. We can't hear, so it might have been.
But this was also back in the days where you couldn't reserve seating at movie theaters. So people would line up at like 9:30 p.m. for a midnight seat. Not one, just to get a ticket, and 2 to make sure they had good seats.
I used to do that. I used to do that video game. I used to do that for like COD when COD used to come out. Like you like wait outside, there'd be like a line. But now
just like outside GameStop. That's
yeah. But now people just like buy them online.
Now you like pre-order it online. Even with like movie tickets, now you select your. It's just not fun anymore, you know.
Yeah,
it's much more fun waiting in line. And then I rewatched Furiosa. I mean, I've said this on the podcast. Dune Part 2 is my number 1. Furiosa is my number 2 on the year. I think people are like, I am even more shocked myself at like how close those 2 movies are for me. Like I love Dune, favorite movie ever. I think it's like the best movie ever. Furiosa is like right there, man. It is so fucking good. Unbelievable film. Chris Hemsworth. It'll never happen. I need that supporting actor nomination, man. I need that supporting actor nomination.
I just need another film. You know?
I need The Wasteland to come out tomorrow. But other than movies, my week has been fine. I've been trying to rewatch season 1 of Arcane. I want to watch.
I might watch Arcane.
I might watch it.
It looks really good. You guys listen.
I've just been told it's good.
I'm done preaching this to you. I've been saying this since season 1 came out to you guys.
How long are the episodes, George?
Like 50-ish minutes.
8 2
seasons. 8 or 10.
2 or 3. The one that's like
season 2 just came out today.
Oh, so I can only that makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, unfortunately, at the time of recording the podcast, I have not watched the first 3 episodes. Only the first 3 episodes came out today. But when the podcast drops on Monday, I will have watched it. But yeah, I'm going to keep preaching Arcane season 1 to you guys.
So is it not a dump all release?
No, it's 3, and then they're going to be weekly.
I saw the app
on Netflix.
Which is right? Isn't that weird? Yeah. Netflix doesn't usually do that.
Netflix never does that. Actually, never. Like I think this may be the first one.
Yeah, Netflix never does.
Someone correct me. I don't think I've ever seen Netflix do that.
I don't know if they did it for season 1 because I didn't watch season 1 as it released. I watched it like months later.
Did they not do Stranger Things, or am I wrong?
Remember? No, they did part. They did
part they just did that with Outer Banks, too. They often do like
they do
drop
part.
Half season
They
other half.
drop half and then half. Yeah. Remember that show that you could watch in any order?
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah. Oh, Kaleidoscope. Yeah.
That shit sucked.
You're talking about Bandersnatch for a second.
No, that's the interactive movie.
Yeah,
that was crazy. I think it's funny that they do that, but man, that shit sucks.
Listen, they're just trying different ways to keep the medium creative. Some of them work, some of them don't. But yeah, I'm trying to rewatch. I don't know why I keep saying trying. Like I'm succeeding. Like I'm rewatching Arcane season 1. I'm not failing. It's so good. I'll preach that. I've said this a million times on this podcast, and I'll keep saying it. I genuinely think it's one of the best season 1s of television I've ever seen. And I have never even played League of Legends. People tell me all the time.
Oh, is this League of Legends?
Yeah, this is the League of Legends. It's like a prequel. Okay. But people ask me all the time, do I need to have played League of Legends to understand this show? It's a very simple no. And I am just the perfect example. I couldn't even tell you how to play League of Legends. I couldn't even tell you what console to play League of Legends on. I don't know what it is.
Our console game for sure. I think.
Sure. Whatever. Never played it. And Arcane is still sick. We should, instead of reviewing any movie for the rest of this podcast, just do an Arcane season 1 watch along.
Twitch stream League of Legends.
Twitch stream League of Legends.
We should do.
What else? That was like my week watching wise. Light week of watches. Work and life was fine. I went to an event for Bird. I went with Sophie to the Crosby Street Hotel. Mubi was putting on an event for Bird. So we got a chance to see that. Barry was there. My short king. That man is 5'2". It's insane.
But this is what I'm saying, right? I'm like, so I see Sophie's story, and she's like, what she said, like Barry's so short.
Yeah, Barry's short.
I'm like, this guy's like half an inch smaller than me. What is she trying to say right now? You know? But I'm thinking about it. I'm like, he must be smaller than like 5'9", whatever it says online. Like,
he's got like, I'm not a tall dude, and when I walked past him, I had a good like 3-4 inches.
Hollywood is like relatively short because Tom Cruise is like 5'8".
Yeah, Tom Cruise is tiny.
Tom Cruise is like 5'5", I swear.
Even better. Like Hollywood is like notoriously short.
Like
that's why they can get.
Dude, I just found out Gabriel LaBelle is like 5'1".
Ugh.
Yeah.
Did you watch Saturday night? That guy's
he'll grow up.
He's not growing up.
He's 21, 22.
He's like 23 or something.
True. He's the same age as Cooper Hoffman. And
that's
40.
He's
like
my short-year-old
man.
No, all-time move by Barry Keoghan, or based on the Raiders TikTok. Maybe it is Keoghan or whatever.
I think it's
Keoghan. I'm pretty sure
it's Keoghan.
I think he said that.
Because apparently the way he pronounced it is different than like what the typical Irish pronunciation of his last name would be. So that's why people get like in a tiff. But regardless, all-time move dating Sabrina Carpenter, because if he's so short, like dating someone 4'10" is just like all-time. Like you're always gonna look tall. So even if you're like 5'2", it's like people are like, man, you're a tall man.
I think I'm in.
Or you be like an ultimate like courage Chad and be like Tom Holland and be like, fuck that, I don't care. I don't conform.
I respect Tom Holland, just the short king dating.
I mean, he's in a relationship
dating an average sized woman. Good for him.
So many short kings. So many short kings.
He's the GOAT.
Barry was supposed to do a Q&A at the screening of Bird. Unfortunately, they came out before the movie started and said that talent doesn't want to do a Q&A anymore, but they will be at the reception. So we didn't have a Q&A, but we did see him from afar.
You guys kiss?
But yeah,
was Andrew Arnold there, Barry?
No, she wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Unless she was, and I just have no idea what she looks like, if I'm being honest with you. I've not seen a single one of her films except Bird. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this woman could have been there, and I just completely missed her, or she just wasn't there. But all right, let's move on. Let's get into some movie reviews.
Can I do mine?
Oh, fuck. Wait. My bad. Why don't you stop me when this happens?
No, it's fine.
You did try, to be fair.
Nothing.
And then he just...
I got nothing. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think I remember because then he cut out. All right, my bad.
Purdue basketball's back. Fuck yeah. That's all I want to say. Tyler, where are you going this week?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, I'll be in Houston.
Yeah,
I'll be in New York.
I'll be in Sheffield.
Sure. Seth Field. That's what I call it. That's what I call it.
Okay, great.
Harry Potter's cool, guys. I watched Harry Potter. It's cool. It's cool.
Yes.
It's a good show. Good movie.
You need to raise that Prisoner of Azkaban a little bit over there, Cam.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're all 4s, man. I actually
that's what I did.
I actually dropped Prisoner of Azkaban. I think I might start the narrative that Goblet of Fire is the best one, man.
I mean, I don't mind that. It's top 3 for me. It might even be second.
It's top 3. It's number 2 for me.
Yeah.
I think I have the most fun with that one.
I love Goblet of Fire.
Dude, on rewatch, the one Potter movie that gets better on rewatch for me is Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I'm sorry, not Goblet of Fire. My mistake. Order of Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix.
Order of Phoenix, bang.
That's like
my
fifth,
mistake.
Maybe.
I actually have Goblet of Fire low and Order, but Order of the Phoenix through Goblet of Fire, all 4 stars. Consistent.
Have you tried watching them again?
I just watched them.
Yeah, but have you tried watching Prisoner of Azkaban again?
Oh, I can, dude. I kind of liked it, man. I kind of liked these movies. They're pretty good.
Oh man, Harry's Patronum at the end. That shit sends shivers down my
spine. I'm not gonna lie. After watching Deathly Hallows Part 2, I went to YouTube and I watched the Snape reveal again, like the Snape tears. I was like, this shit hits, man.
That's like what's
awesome.
Up Danger Spider-Verse for me. The amount of times I go to
maybe
YouTube
not
and just watch.
We're not being silly right now.
Come on.
We're not lying to people.
We're talking slop regardless.
I get you're right. You're right about that. But yeah, when you tweeted it, George, and it was before I had watched because you were texting me about Prisoner of Azkaban, Deathly Hallows Part 2, about Albus's brother being a hater. And I was like, I got to watch through so I understand what he's saying. But you tweeted like the Lily after all this time. That shit hits, man. That shit goes so hard when he throws out the dough. Insane.
Yeah,
insane.
Expecto Patronum.
Yeah, just so good.
Lily.
What
after all this time. But yeah, that Aberforth shit, that actually made me crack up because the first thing I thought about was you. Literally 7 minutes.
Albus is actually scum, though.
Dude, he's got 7 minutes of screen time and uses 6 of them to shit on his brother.
Yeah. Albus is scum. Killed his sister and raises Harry for slaughter. It's crazy. Scumbag. Yeah.
And didn't protect Lily and James like he promised.
Yep. Dude stinks. Man.
Bro.
But yeah, I mean, it's honestly, we've lost way too many like great Harry Potter actors. Like obviously,
we lost all the great ones.
Dude, I was when we were watching Deathly Hallows Part 2 with Victoria. I just every time someone else came on screen, I just kept saying R.I.P. and she was like, "What? He or she is gone as well?"
Because I think all of the Dumbledores have passed, right?
Yeah. Michael Gambon gone.
Alan Rickman, obviously.
Alan Rickman.
We just lost Dame.
Robbie Coltrane.
Thank you.
Did you say
Richard Harris?
The GOAT. Man, what a
Richard. Maggie Smith.
Yeah, Dame Maggie Smith. Thank you.
What was the woman who played
in Peaky Blinders? Draco's mom.
What's her name?
She passed very young.
She passed? No. That's
she
terrible.
Like 2 years ago. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's terrible. Like it's unfortunate how many like of these people you're watching.
They spoke about her Narcissa in the not Narcissa, I can't remember the actor's name, sorry. In the reunion.
I haven't seen the reunion.
Man.
I cry.
I'm not a like the like 30 years Friends reunion that they tried doing. I'm not a reunion guy because I think
Friends.
Do you know who we didn't mention?
I think it's flop.
Do you know who we didn't mention? John Hurt, who played Ollivander. He died.
Yeah, it's her name is Helen McCrory.
Helen
McCrory.
But the Dursley, Mr. Thingy.
Miss Dursley passed.
Richard's.
Dude, everyone's passed.
I'm so sorry to the Harry Potter cast and crew. That's unfortunate.
Helen McCrory.
It's also great watching Harry Potter because it's like a UK like Avengers almost, like of all just like
all their biggest
like
bro, half the Avengers are British. Not half, but a lot of them.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a take right there because I just don't.
Wait,
think
who's
I don't think that's true at all.
Chris
honestly.
Hemsworth and Benedict Cumberbatch. Who else?
Yeah.
Hemsworth is Australian.
You couldn't be as far away in the
Yeah,
world.
I think tough take. I don't know if that's true.
Wait, is
but
there
it's
any?
one of those things like every time Gary Oldman pops up, I'm like, shit, it's Gary Oldman, and then you got like Reese Ifans in the Deathly Hallows comes up, and then like Jason Isaacs, Brendan Gleeson, like all these actors you just know from everything, and it's like, man, they just got everyone in here.
You know, like the Leo pointing. You do that a lot when you watch Harry Potter.
Yes, you do. Yeah. I had to fight for my life. I talked to Sammy and Alex a lot, but Alex was just giving me shit for watching Harry Potter. And I still stand by Transformers. Way more fun. No, Transformers just more of a joyous watch. But I had to fight for my life this week from them. Also, shout out Sammy, got engaged. Good for him.
Congratulations to Sammy.
Also, I grouted my kitchen this week, which was a living hell. Emma went to her grandparents. Emma went to her grandparents with Bailey for the night, so that I had all night to grout our kitchen and our dining room and our pantry. And so I thought, man, this is going to be awesome. I have a free night. I'm going to do this in 2 hours. And I'm going to go see a movie. I'm going to watch some basketball. I'm going to enjoy my night. Couldn't be farther from the truth. It took me about 6 hours to do. My back was aching. My hands were like crusted together. It just absolutely painful. But while doing that, I like opened up Netflix. I was like, I need such a simple watch. Kung Fu Panda was just right there in front of me. And I'm like, this is perfect. So I threw on some Kung Fu Panda. And man, the Ian McShane, tell me how proud you are. Like just every time he yells that, man, I'm like, this is awesome.
I tweeted the other day that like I could never have a like set gym playlist because my mood changes. And I put like one day I'll listen to like rock and rap. The next day I'll have like a Tai Lung edit on TikTok just going. Yep. Not a joke at all.
No,
like zero joke.
Insane, man.
Like
Tai Lung goes so hard.
Yeah, dude. I have a 5-minute edit of Tai Lung saved on TikTok, and I just throw it on sometimes.
He might be one of the most like underrated, like genuinely like top 10.
No, he is not underrated. I see so much.
No, you see a lot of edits, but I'm talking like if you ever have a list of like top 10 villains of all time, he's never on there.
There's a close villain you going through Panda.
I mean, let's relax with top 10.
Oh my God, no, bro! When dude, you feel for that fucker. He's an abandoned kid that was pushed beyond his limits, and then he was given all this praise just to be taken away from. Man, when he's like,
I did to make you proud.
Tell me
how proud you are, Shifu.
Who pushed me till I had bones cracked? Dude, it's just, man, so good.
And every edit's got the most depressing song overlaid.
It's awesome, dude. It's incredible.
You got like Adele's Skyfall going as Tai Lung is just pouring his soul out.
Oh man, they got the rain going, man. Every other Kung Fu Panda, in my opinion, kind of stinks. But that
Lord Shen, is it?
I don't think they stink. I mean, the first one just came out.
I think they're all fine. I think they're all
four just came out. I think, and I think Tyler and I were the only ones that reviewed that on the pod. That one stunk.
I haven't seen it.
But the trilogy, I think the first one's great, but the trilogy is good too.
Who's good?
Yeah,
I haven't gone back and watched those, and I don't know honestly if I ever will, but. I don't.
Is this going to be one of your moments, Cam, where you say it's fine and you have it a 4-star?
Yeah, probably. Let's go see. I haven't seen them in a long time. Let's go see what the Kung Fu Panda scores are.
3.5. That's not as bad as usual.
Yeah, it's fine. And then what's number 3? I think 3 is like a 3.5. Okay, so yeah, both fine. I'll stand by that. I probably would reduce them if I ever watched them again, but I probably won't. But yeah, shout out Tai Lung, man. Deserve better. We've been going at this shit for 45 minutes, but that's too long for an intro. That's too long for an intro.
It's beyond intros, man.
Get into mid. Let's get into mid.
Let's get into mid. Let's start with we'll do Heretic first because I think that's the biggest release.
I have a buddy who wants to know about Heretic, so I'm going to send him the StreamYard and just let him listen in if that's all right with y'all.
All right, Have him jump in.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Dude,
It'll be cool.
I can't tell you how often my best friends are like, dude, when am I coming on the pod? And I'm like, what do you want to talk about? He's like, I don't care. I'll talk about the whole Fast and Furious franchise whenever you want. I was like,
yeah,
all
I
right,
don't want to do Fast and Furious.
whatever, man. I'm like,
Man, let's do Fast and Furious. He's playing COD right now.
That is ultimate slop.
I might take Fast and Furious is ultimate slop this week when I'm in Houston. I might take my Xbox in my bag to just play to get COD and just play it because I don't have time. In my life. I might tell my coworkers, hey, I can't go out tonight. I got COD to play.
Join us.
Yeah, dude, I want to play it so bad.
All right. Yeah, let's do it, Seth. Let's get into Heretic.
Oh, is this those? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Just me. It's gonna be just me and you for Heretic and Bird, so we can move through these. I'm gonna be honest to anyone listening. I don't know if we're gonna speak a long time on Heretic. Fairly straightforward movie. So directed by Scott Beck and Brian Wood. Scott Beck, you guys probably know most recently from the Adam Driver starring 65. Brian Wood as well. They seem to be a nice pair. They've both directed Heretic as well as 65. Two young missionaries are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the wrong door and are greeted by a diabolical Mr. Reed, becoming ensnared in his deadly game of cat and mouse. My bad for that word slip up. Ensnared. Letterboxd throwing big words at me. I don't need that. Starring Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. We also have Topher Grace, who I genuinely did not realize that character was Topher Grace until I looked at the cast
I had no idea.
I had zero clue until I looked at the cast list after I watched the movie.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
cool. I mean, he is in fairness, he is wearing like glasses and a beanie and like a heavy coat the entire movie. But Seth, we'll start with you. I think we were both like kind of just right in the middle of this movie. So let's hear we'll start spoiler free, but like I said, I don't think there's too much to spoil, but obviously we'll throw on the spoiler warning when we get there. But Seth, give us your overall thoughts, reactions to Heretic.
Yeah, I think Heretic is generally speaking pretty good. I think that I said this in my review. I think it works best as like a classic cat and mouse chase, survival comedy horror. Like I think Hugh Grant particularly is great. I really, really liked him. I think he was just could not get enough from him on screen. I think he's funny. I think he's charismatic. I think he's creepy. And I think he is the perfect casting choice for this role and a really interesting choice as well. It's not someone you expect to maybe see, but I really, really liked him. I think that it starts off a lot more successfully than it ends. And as it kind of continues, there's ups and downs. The difficulty with a film like this for me, and I think it's becoming the case for many films now, where it's getting very repetitive to try and combine faith and spirituality within horror and combinations of ideas like resurrection and obedience and whatever. Like it throws a few like interesting ideas about like, there's a few questions that Hugh Grant's character poses on like control and obedience and just religion in general and kind of the institutional rise and stuff like that. And I think that while there's questions presented, nothing to really like latch onto. Like I said, I think it works better as like a classically driven comedy horror than like something more like a spiritual thinker. I think I said in my review. I think technically there's some really cool moments, some cool shots. Not at any point did I really find it particularly, I guess, creepy or scary. I actually found it funnier, which again isn't really an insult because that is one of the major roles. I just think it could have done more and it should have maybe attached itself to one or the other genre a little bit more frequently. Like it says a lot. Like Hugh Grant has these moments where, they're in his house when they first meet him, and their obviously goal is to kind of, teach him about the Latter-day Saints and bring him over, and it's their job to kind of like prove their faith almost as these young missionaries. And there's a few moments where Hugh Grant asks questions, and at the time, I think it's Kevin K. Meek said this in his review. Like at the time, you're like, "Oh, that's cool," and you really think about the questions. Like there's really nothing there, nothing really to latch onto. A few interesting ideas and moments, but nothing quite sticks. The ending is obviously we'll go into that. It's perfectly okay. I think Again, a bit of a swing when it comes to the base of what we saw previously on in the film, but nothing crazy. But my favorite part about this was Hugh Grant. I think Hugh Grant's really fun. I think he's enjoyable. I think I'd definitely like to see him in more roles like this. I think he's really, really built for it. And I also like the kind of single location, chilly atmosphere. That's really cool. It's just an ideal setup for a horror. This kind of big house, with snow outside and kind of in the middle of like this wooded area and stuff. But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5. I definitely enjoyed it more than I didn't. Yeah, 3 out of 5 for me. I thought it was okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Pretty much share the exact same sentiments. I love the one location, and I do think this is one of the better Hugh Grant performances we've seen in a good long while. Obviously he's in so much. Wonka, most recently, everyone loves him as the Oompa Loompa, Dungeons and Dragons, small role in Glass Onion, but this kind of let him shine, and I really do think he was fantastic. Kind of agree with everything you said about faith and religion in film. I think it's if you're not posing anything new or anything interesting or anything insightful, I'm just not going to have a general appreciation. There are so many movies. There's so many questions being asked in this movie. Quite literally, like Hugh Grant's character literally is asking these girls questions. And like you said, like none of them really like made me think. None of them posed anything interesting that I haven't heard previously in film or that I haven't just randomly contemplated myself. And when we talk about faith and religion in film, sorry if you could hear these cop sirens going on outside. Something's going on. But when we talk about faith and religion in film, I'm obviously just going to continuously go back to Scorsese's Silence. Because
that's too high a bar there, Josh.
Yeah, I know. I setting myself up for failure when I go into anything religious now, just because that's my bar. Because that movie left such an insane impression on me. It had me questioning everything: the nature of struggle, the nature of faith. Why must someone struggle while someone doesn't struggle? Whereas Heretic is just asking very basic questions on control and reincarnation, and the likelihood of a prophet, and things like that. So I don't think this movie necessarily posed anything new or intriguing that kind of warranted praise. I will say, up until the movie opens with these girls, and you kind of immediately get to Hugh Grant's house. They have this extended conversation before they even get off of the couch. I was locked, man. I was so intrigued. They weren't necessarily. This wasn't the moment where like faith and religion really came into play as heavily as it will further down the line in this movie. But they were just having this very quick back and forth, trying to understand one another. Chloe East's character, Sister Paxton, she's the more cautious one, whereas Sophie Thatcher's character, Sister Barnes, she's the more, I want to say, like naive and like childish about this. She's trying to get a baptism. So she's just kind of like going along with it. Whereas Chloe East's character is just a little more cautious, and it just made for a very interesting dynamic between the three of them. And then we get to it was like an altar-esque room, and they have this very interesting conversation about, I guess, art or video games, or not video games, board games, music. They even mention Radiohead and Lana Del Rey, and then they attribute that back to, the Quran, the Book of Mormon, the Bible, and how they each kind of just gather inspiration from stories that had happened thousands of years prior to the events of Jesus Christ or Abraham or whatever prophet you may follow. And I thought that was a rather interesting conversation and a very interesting analogy on like pulling religion, comparing it to modern day consumerism and capitalism and literally monopolies. That the board game of choice is Monopoly. And then even music, how, Lana Del Rey pulled inspiration from Radiohead. Radiohead pulled inspiration from another artist whom I'm forgetting right now. But I thought like the first like half hour, 45 minutes, we are opening not necessarily interesting questions that like we've heard before, but just the way they kind of like put it in the context of religion and faith, I thought was very interesting. And I was generally intrigued up until the moment they went down the stairs. That's kind of where I didn't necessarily lose the film. The film didn't lose me. I just lost interest because what I thought was the strongest aspect of this movie was just the three of them in a room going back and forth. And obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I wish the whole movie was just them in a room going back and forth, because that's just not Scott Beck or Brian Wood's vision of the film. That was just the aspects of it that I preferred. But yeah, like you said, I love the one location. I really do enjoy it. I think when you can pull off a one location and at least keep me generally intrigued, because again, 2.5 stars on this movie. As I watch more movies, I think my average kind of falls lower to a 2.5. Like 2 years ago, a 2.5, very negative rating. 2.5 now is kind of just split right down the middle. Like I'm more just, I liked aspects, I didn't like aspects. It's not a movie I'm going to talk overly positive on or overly negative on. But it is a movie that I think was highlighted better in religion and faith when you had these opposing views just going back and forth. When they went down the stairs, it kind of turned into what the film eventually kind of gears towards, which is control. And it was just Hugh Grant's character kind of manipulating the two of them, and the two of them kind of unpacking what's going on very slowly. And that was just an aspect of the film that kind of lost me. But yeah, Heretic, it's a good movie. I did have a fine time with it. Hugh Grant certainly kept me locked in. Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East. I know a lot of people are going to go to Hugh Grant on the performance side very quickly. But Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, I think they're fantastic. I think they're really good. Chloe East, I think the most recent thing I know her from is The Fabelmans, as well as The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I don't know if you ever saw that. And then Sophie Thatcher was more recently in Maxine, which I still haven't seen. So technically, this was my first Sophie Thatcher.
Did you not watch The Boogeyman?
I have not seen The Boogeyman. I'm looking at her letterbox right now, and I'm seeing that she's in it.
It's not very good. It's not very good.
Wait, there's another Rob Savage. Wait, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking of Rob Zombie. I'm so stupid.
No, Rob Savage is the guy who
Yeah. I'm so dumb. He did Host.
That's it. Yeah, he did Host.
I'm so stupid. All right, anyways, back to Heretic. Is there anything? Let's put a spoiler tag on. I don't know if Tyler's still here listening to us, but let me throw on. Oh, Tyler is listening to us. Okay, spoiler tag is on. So if you haven't seen Heretic, check timestamps below and skip. Is there anything specific you want to talk about? Like I said, like the movie doesn't necessarily have anything spoiler worthy. I think anything post them going into the basement is kind of like spoiler discussions worth having.
Yeah. So I mean, we could go into when they go downstairs, there's a person there who's like this blueberry pie. We've got to mention this. The whole point is like the start.
Right.
He gets them in because I'm assuming it's kind of a rule in Mormon religion. If the women are in there with a male, they have to have a woman present.
Yep, correct.
So he basically is saying, that his wife is making blueberry pie, yada yada, whatever. And he kind of commits them into the house because him saying like his wife's there. At this point, we kind of know that like he doesn't have a wife. And it's a really interesting interaction actually, a really good interaction, because you find out that he's got like a bolt, like a timed bolt on the door. And he mentions that there's metal like in the walls and stuff. So obviously there's no like mobile phone like cell service. And then they say, they got a call. But then he's like, actually, you didn't, because I already said that you couldn't have, and there's no cell service. And then he also mentions by his wife, like, do you really believe I have a wife? And this is kind of the ability to control. That was a really interesting point. And then, he goes downstairs, and there's obviously the woman there, blueberry pie, and he basically, the whole thing is that he's going to poison the pie, and she's going to die. Then He's going to bring him back to life, and it's kind of him as proof for a prophet, kind of showcasing that. And then essentially we find out that the whole thing, like George already kind of alluded to, is just a game of control. And essentially what he was doing is the person would eat the pie, and as they're trying to do something else, he kind of figured they'd be trying to get out. He quickly switches the dead person in with someone new and gives them a sheet of paper as to what to say. They kind of go off script. He kind of figures that. And then she's running away from him. He kills, what's her name? Sister
Paxton.
Yeah, he kills Paxton. Then there's a whole kind of chase sequence, and then he's kind of anticipating exactly where she's going to go and what she's going to do. And the whole thing is this is the proof of institutionalized religious groups and their kind of control over people, which is a really interesting point of view. But again, nothing new we've seen. And then eventually, you see she wanders into this room, and there's a bunch of people who he's obviously kept in cages, who he's just steadily feeding and starving to the point where it's just going to happen again and again and again. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. But some of those things for me felt very anticlimactic, especially the end sequence, when kind of her, I guess, faith is what's the word? Faith is brought back when you see Six Person who's obviously dead and comes back and kills, stabs Hugh Grant's character. It's I don't know, man. A lot of the big moments in the final third felt very anticlimactic and very obvious. It's one of those films where I kind of like the idea. I like the idea of control and the way it's presented more than it was actually presented at that time. It feels pretty.
It all just boiled down to I don't want to say nothing, but like you said, the whole final 20 minutes was Hugh Grant basically saying everything about religion just boils down to control. Mm-hmm. And he basically explains I took you, Sister Barnes, on this journey just to prove that I'm in control. When no. I don't know, it's is he in control? You locked her in a basement and you really gave her one exit. I would go down that exit too. That's not really control. That's just a girl running away for survival. Now, a better display of control is when she gets to that back room and she sees those 5 women in cages. That's a better display of control, because it's yeah, I control these women because they rely on me to survive. Yes, I've kidnapped them. Yes, they don't want to necessarily be here, but they are relying on me, and that is control. But the game that he sent Barnes and Paxton on didn't necessarily feel like a game of control. It just felt like a game of who can scream their ideologies louder, which is fine. But when your ideologies don't present anything necessarily worth discussing, it just makes for a very boring experience. You just took us through the entire back hour of the movie, and it took you 5 minutes. There's just so much extended in this movie that I just think is just such dead weight, which is kind of what holds me back. And then again, it's not presenting me with anything new really worth discussing. I think the prophet stuff was cool. I think that was a very interesting way. Excuse me. The prophet stuff was cool. I think that was a very interesting way of just showing his control and just how he can manipulate kind of anyone that's in his presence. But again, that's not necessarily control. That's more of just, blind, false manipulation. And yeah, I don't know. I don't, at the end of the day, I don't think this movie presented me with anything that's just going to sit with me. It's very, and I've said this on the pod a couple times over the last couple of weeks, this is a very in the moment movie where in the moment it was cool. It was any time a movie comes out about religion and faith, I'm going to be just inherently intrigued. And in the moment I was oh, this is cool. They're kind of, throwing around board games, throwing around music, kind of connecting it back to religion. And then I kind of left the theater and I was okay, that movie just happened. It's going to leave my mind after I'm done talking about it on the ReelTok podcast. Because, Scorsese's silence, I think about every day. Every single day of my life, I think about that movie. Whereas this movie just doesn't, present anything within religion that I think opens any new doors. Pun intended. Anything else on Heretic?
No, not necessarily. I think I'm all good with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, in the grand scheme of 2024 horror, I mean, you obviously have like the heavy hitters. I mean, I would never call trap horror. I saw the TV Glow, Long Legs, Romulus, I guess.
First Omen.
First Omen. Good comms, Tyler. Yeah, this wasn't necessarily, one of the worst. Immaculate. Immaculate trash. But all right, that was Heretic. Let's, Seth, let's keep you and I's ball rolling and move right into Bird.
That's what?
Keep our balls rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, you heard that. You heard that properly. Nice. Bird 2024 Andrea Arnold film. I unfortunately am not well versed in our Andrea Arnold filmography. I have not seen any of her previous films. I know you've seen a couple, Seth. I know she's massive in the UK, which honestly I didn't know that.
I don't think she is. I think she's big. I mean, respectively to film people, but not like commercially, not like to the general audience or whatever. But for film people, yeah.
Honestly, even looking at her filmography, the only film of hers I recognize is American Honey, and
that's the only one I haven't seen as well. That's like her big American like epic or whatever. I haven't seen it. So.
Good movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. But all right, Bird, directed by Andrea Arnold, starring Nakia Adams, Barry Keoghan, Franz Rogowski, and Jason Buda. 12-year-old Bailey lives with her single dad, Bug, and brother Hunter in a squat in North Kent. Bug doesn't have much time for his kids, and Bailey, who is approaching puberty, seeks attention and adventure elsewhere. Seth, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to keep my mouth shut for most of this review because I want to hear your thoughts. And honestly, I came out of this movie not confused, but acknowledging that I think this is a movie that just needs multiple viewings to properly kind of digest and understand where Andrea Arnold is kind of, what journey she's taking us on, especially as we kind of get into like the back 20 minutes of this movie where it moves from very realistic into very fantastical. So we'll start spoiler free as always. Give us your spoiler free thoughts.
Yeah. So I mean, so Andrea Arnold is like, I would say, I think I said in my review, she's like at the forefront of kind of British social realism, similar to like Shane Meadows, George, who obviously directed This Is England. I essentially like the female version of him, not in terms of like style, but just in terms of the forefront of social realism. Like her films are very like misery purposed, but often with tinges of like small optimism. So this film, it's like one of those where if you like Andrea Arnold and already like her work, you'll probably enjoy this. It's quite similar to her other British works anyway. This being probably more optimistic and more fantastical and more visually, not necessarily creative, but like a fairy tale almost. And that's essentially how it sets out, especially with Bird's character, who obviously we'll go on to. Like I said in my review, like for me, like it honestly felt like a live action adaptation version of like a Miyazaki in some ways, in terms of like visually anyway. So obviously this is like very, very misery purpose, very toned between, working class Britain living in it. And it's essentially about kind of a girl who is, so obviously you've got one element who's the main character, who's a girl who's living in unfortunate circumstances, trying to maybe not even get attention, but figure out where she wants to go in life and get out of her surroundings. But eventually understands that, and it's almost a film on kind of accepting your surroundings and making the most of it. By the end, we see that. And then you've got this Bird character who's really, really interesting, kind of probably shouldn't say like spoilers. I mean, really interesting character as well. I'll get onto him a little bit further. But I think, she's a mastermind at showcasing like working class Britain in ways that is so potent and realistic. And a lot of the things that she uses are kind of misery focused. So it's something that kind of can spin people off or turn people the wrong way. I think that Nakia Adams, I assume that's how it's pronounced, and Franz Rogowski, I think his name is, who was obviously in, I think, Passages a couple of years ago. I think he's fantastic in this. Like, I love them. It is, for me, as one of the most exciting ensembles of the year, just in terms of different performances and people I love. I think Barry Keoghan is also great, playing this kind of like dad just up in the mix and kind of not really focusing on too much of his daughter, and she's kind of feeling that and kind of he's got his own thing going on, and then obviously you've got the Toad as well, which is a really interesting element, and Coldplay, which is a cool little combination as well. But I think that
great scene.
Yeah. I think this represents. She always manages, like Shea Meadows, to represent like the lowest of lows of working class Britain, whilst also kind of showcasing the blind optimism that I find. Me growing up and meeting people have within this kind of. Again, we see the end of this, accepting the surroundings and kind of making the most of it, but also struggling with when you are growing up and you're around people and you're not around a lot of money and you're around people who maybe are throwing you the wrong way and family members who are doing, this and that. And then Bird is kind of like her, as a character, is kind of like her, someone she needs and someone who understands her, because he's kind of almost trying to find his way of life and his kind of pack, so to speak. But yeah, I loved it. I give it a 4 out of 5. I think it could even go up. But I think Andrew Arnold's a filmmaker that I know some people don't necessarily like, which is fine. I really, really like her. I love what she represents. And I almost think not to be like that person where it's like you almost appreciate her films more if you understand them on a genuine practical level, where you can identify the locations, not specifically, but in terms of mentally and where you grew up. And you can also identify characters with people, you've run across in your own life, especially in the UK. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. Really liked it, and that's kind of about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit lower on it. I don't even want to say my score, because I just think it's a bit of a disingenuous score. Because like I said, I think I need to rewatch this now that I kind of understand what the film kind of like, where it takes you. I went into this film completely blind. Didn't see a trailer, had no idea what it was about. I hadn't read your review prior to the movie. This was Sophie's second watch of the movie, and she refrained from telling me anything about it. So I didn't know that this movie kind of takes something that starts so grounded in reality and kind of moves it to the fantastical. So I think I was just a bit caught off guard by the direction of this film, which didn't leave like a sour taste in my mouth. It left more of a confused taste in my mouth, because like you said, I think what for some reason I keep wanting to say Arnaldi, because I'm thinking of Matteo Arnaldi, who's a really trash tennis player, but Andrea Arnold, totally like what she was trying to say of these socioeconomic struggles and this this display of coming of age and intimacy and empathy. I think it's beautiful. I really liked the character. God, I need to go back to the Letterboxd page so I can get my characters right. I really liked the character of Bailey, and I really liked her relationship with Bird. So where I think my confusion kind of, and it wasn't confusion, I think it was more just, I was just like dumbfounded by like the direction. I think the character of Bird was just so thematically charged, because Andrea Arnold is taking us on this really beautiful coming of age journey. And Bird, not even just the character, just the idea of a bird is so, representative of freedom and of escape and of just kind of breaking free of this mold that you may be latched onto. So I thought that, honestly, the entire time I was watching this movie, I was like, is this character even like real? Like, is he even like present? Or is she kind of envisioning this character named Bird as symbolism to her coming of age and her just needing to break out of this, socioeconomic struggle that she's kind of put in where does she live? North Kent, I believe, in North Kent.
Near London. Just say near London.
Sure, near London. Because what I really do like about this movie is just, it was kind of like stomach turning. And I really don't want to come off sounding like insincere here, but like when I watch movies of like the struggling working class, especially put in positions of North Kent or near London, where they kind of live in such poor conditions, like if you can represent that properly in film, you're going to get an emotional reaction out of me. And this movie certainly got that reaction out of me, because as I was watching this movie, I felt sad. I felt very emotionally charged. And a large part of that is the character of Bailey and the representation of her lifestyle, because I was like, I really feel for this character and I really want her to break out of this living condition that she's in, both social and economic. And I love the relationship with this character of Bird, because he's kind of like representative of those freedoms that I kind of want for this character. And then there's this whole, identity alienation. She's trying to her brother, right? That's her brother, the guy that got the girl pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This was just me being stupid, but as I was watching the movie, honestly, I didn't know what the familial situation was, because I was so locked into these living conditions, and I was like, are they even related, or are they so poor that they just happen to be sharing a home?
No, I think I'm pretty sure it's a brother. It might be like half brother, but they're the same dad and stuff.
Yeah. So like I love like this whole like she's struggling with just growing up. She's struggling to find this group of folk to like hang out with. She's trying to break into her brother's gang of buddies early on. So yeah, I the more I talk about this film, the more I think my currently standing 2.5 stars is very low, because as I've thought, because I will admit I've really been thinking about this movie a lot since I watched it on Thursday night or Wednesday night or whenever I saw it, and the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of just really highlighting what Andrea Arnold was going for on both a social and economic level, on a spiritual and a fantastic level, on gender and on power dynamics between father, daughter, power dynamics between her biological mother as well as her piece of shit boyfriend. And then obviously Bird representing, freedom and flight or whatever, and just that desire to break out of whatever you're kind of thrown into. What I will say, when we left the theater, what Sophie said to me was like, did you catch on that her dad's name was Bug? And in like the context of the movie, if my analysis is correct, right? If Bird represents freedom, if Bird represents escape and flight or whatever, what does Bug represent? What is his, like, is he literally just like a bug? Like, is he just kind of annoying and just like this, like that's kind of what I'm struggling with. Like, if my analysis on the character of Bird is correct, what is my analysis on the character of Bug? Like, what does he represent? And that's something that I'm struggling to piece together. But every other aspect of this movie, and the more I think about it, the more I think, I'll probably end up raising my rating, and definitely a movie I want to revisit. And then stylistically, I think it is a good looking movie. Nothing groundbreaking, that there were no shots that are like absolutely moving me. But as a coming of age film from a location in the world and a social and economic climate that I don't necessarily understand, I think this movie does a rather good job at kind of really emotionally charging me. I think my current low rating as it stands is more so just how dumbfounded I was coming out of the theater. And my initial reaction was, yeah, I get what she was going for. I just don't necessarily think it worked for me. But honestly, this is why I love talking with you guys about movies, because the more I talk about certain films, the more I kind of realize, like, oh, you know what? I think I appreciate that movie more than I had thought coming out of the theater.
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting because we have picked things up quite differently here, George. This will be interesting. I have a different interpretation on Bird. Well, no, not different. I actually agree, but so my thought process is, I mean, the whole thing, a Bird for me is like the best thing about the film. The whole thing about Bird's character is that he's kind of lost, and we know he's trying to find like his long lost family. And the whole point is the Bird was abandoned by his family, and it's for me, and he's kind of like had to fend for himself and kind of do things his own way. So for me, it was kind of like Bird's like a pack, and he's trying to return.
Yeah,
that return to his familial sense.
I think I agree with you there. I don't disagree. I think what as I was watching the film, I wasn't necessarily watching Bird's journey. I was watching Bailey's journey and what Bird meant to her.
Yeah, but no, I agree. Yeah, no, I for me, like, it's interesting because obviously you got two kind of different paths, but also almost intertwined. Where you've got like Bird, where it's kind of her. I can't remember what was it. Bailey's like kind of helping him, return to his family. And Tyler, are you here? Can you put like a little spoiler number on, please?
He said BRB. I could throw it on. Hold on.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, I can't throw it on. I'm not logged in. All right, just spoiler warning. Spoiler for Bird. No one has seen Bird. It's not. I don't think it's got a wide release yet, so everyone should be checking the timestamps and skipping forward. But all right, spoiler warning. You've been warned.
You've been warned, right? Okay, so yeah, I think look, obviously, in one moment we see the Bird kind of turns into a bird,
Yeah.
And then we didn't even mention, I mean, one of the reasons that Bailey doesn't get on with the dad, as she said earlier on, is kind of her dad left her mom, who we do see, who's kind of living in this abusive relationship. And again, that's kind of the misery aspect and that working class misery. And then obviously we see what happens with Bird. And obviously Bug is attached, and he is marrying a girl who's known for, like, I think it's like 3 months. And that's one of the reasons that she's resented, whatever. So Bird for me is like this manifestation of a literal bird, and he's trying to get back to kind of his group. And the whole point is him trying to kind of return because he's been abandoned, and that's what Bailey's trying to help her to achieve. So he's like a physical manifestation of a bird, and that's where like you said, it kind of goes into, you've got, I think early on, you've got a lot of shots of like wildlife, and there's kind of this almost fairy tale vibe, especially when she's out there, especially with the actual entrance of Bird, when he like just wanders over in the field, and the way he's kind of lit up and the way they use lighting and that, I think fucking brilliant. And then you kind of get this introduction to this like eccentric guy who's just on his own, and then she follows him, and he's going to explore, and he's going to ask questions, and he's going to try and find out things about his livelihood, because again, he's been abandoned by his family, and that's like his approach to try and return. So he is just a manifestation of a bird, which is, in an obvious sense. And I think that for me, that really, really worked in that. I like that. I think that it works with Bailey's character. I think what their journey and they're trying to be on, where they're kind of similar, but almost trying to find their own way. Especially, here's the bit I loved at the end when Bailey Bug gets married, and this is kind of like when I said about the acceptance thing. And when you first see Bird change is when they're at the house, and kind of there's some domestic abuse going on. It's a really, really horrible scene. And then Bird's eyes change into a bird. And then at the end, it happens to Bailey, and that's like, again, like you said, like another representation of like freedom and kind of almost just finding a pack and understanding that and feeling like she belongs, because you get kind of this sense from Bailey at the start where she's not really connected with the family. Like she her mom's got kids that she doesn't see as often. She doesn't see her mom as often because of the domestic relationship she's in. Her dad's kind of preoccupied. Her brother's in a gang doing criminal activity that she's like half and half on. And then Barry, like I said, Bug's kind of occupied with his new partner. So it's kind of like she's almost found herself at that point, and she's found that acceptance for her living situation. She can feel happiness for her loved ones around her, and that's kind of that's the way the Bird made her feel. And I really thought it was quite cool in a way.
Yeah. This is why I wanted you to kind of take over most of this review, because I think a lot of this I was so focused on Bailey that I just think a lot of this kind of went over my head. Like I wasn't necessarily looking at his Bird or to Bug as their own character. I was kind of looking at them as an extension to Bailey's journey, and this journey that Andrea Arnauld is taking her audience on. But yeah, I think a lot of that makes so much sense. And I definitely certainly need to rewatch this movie kind of with all of that in mind. But yeah, I think the movie's good. I think the movie is good. I think it looks great. And definitely, like I said, just something that just needs to be digested over multiple viewings, especially I think someone like me who's just unfamiliar with Andrea Arnauld and her style of filmmaking and writing.
Yeah, maybe try one of her films. I'm trying to think. Maybe
try
Fish Tank. It's another coming of age that she did, very similar with Michael Fassbender, who plays the dad. That's a really cool one. Maybe try that.
Michael Fassbender. Yeah, I mean,
That's
American
like
Honey.
the most famous. Well, that's the most famous English one.
Yeah.
I really like that one. Maybe you should try that. That's a really interesting film.
Yeah,
And
American
Michael
Honey's been on my
Fassbender's
watch list forever.
Famous.
But all right, anything else we want to say about Bird?
No, I'll probably watch it again because I did really love it, and I think it could go up for me.
Yeah, I want to watch it whenever it gets a wide release. I think this is a movie worth coming back to.
Oh, is it not got a release for you yet?
Is it wide released? I don't.
Oh yeah,
so.
I think Tyler said the other day that it hasn't released for you because it's got a pretty wide release here. I think now.
No, it's got a fairly limited release in New York. As
shout out movie, shout out Sophie, shout out movie.
Yeah, this is one I think would be worth like revisiting on the podcast when all of us have seen it. Because it's a movie I think 4 different people could watch it, and 4 different people can have like their own kind of interpretations of these characters and kind of what they mean to each other. But all right, let's wait for Cam as he returns. Or do we know if Cam watched Blitz or no?
I honestly don't know, but I can go ahead and get into it when he comes back. We'll see if he did watch it or not.
Yeah, he said coming, but all right, Tyler, take it away with Blitz.
I'll kick us off. So Blitz, directed by Steve McQueen. I don't think Seth had seen it, but I believe it was it got its like world premiere at London Film Festival. I don't know. I think I remember reading Josiah's review saying that. And then same with George. George, did you watch it at New York Film Festival?
No, I did. It was a closing film at the film festival.
Gotcha. So Blitz was at both your film festivals, but neither of you had seen it. Directed by Steve McQueen, who the only other film from him I've seen is 12 Years a Slave. And nothing's really jumping out at me from his filmography. That's like I've heard things about it. So that's clearly his like biggest film. But now he's back with Saoirse Ronan, my queen, which she's getting Oscar nomination buzz for this one as well. And I thought this one was for supporting. She's like basically the main character of this. So I was kind of confused by like this because everyone's like, oh, the Outrun's going to be lead and then this will be supporting. But who knows? Oscars are weird, but maybe she'll just get double nominated. Like it's Mikey Madison's category to take, but just throw 2 Saoirse Ronans in there. Why not? But it's a World War II film. In World War II London, 9-year-old George, shout out George, is evacuated to the countryside by his mother Rita to escape the bombings. Defiant and determined to return to his family, George embarks on an epic, perilous journey back home as Rita searches for him. So Blitz, coming from the term blitzkrieg of World War II, London is under siege of constant bombing from the Nazis at this point. And this is really just at its core a story of a boy trying to get back to his mother as they're sending off basically by the trains and trains loads all these kids away from the city to protect them while the families stay back, work to provide for the military, to feed the country, to everything they can. Obviously in America, we know the same kind of stuff they were doing here with like assembly lines and all kinds of stuff just to keep fueling the military, to try and keep them to survive while the children are all going away. But the kid basically, escaped from the train to get back to his mom, Saoirse Ronan. And that's kind of what this whole film is. And I really didn't care for it, to be honest. And K Meeks, I funny enough saw this on his review after I watched it and reviewed it myself. That he said the same thing. Like it just doesn't feel like this is like a Steve McQueen movie. And again, I've only seen one other of his films, so how can I really say that? But I mean, 12 Years a Slave, I just think is really one of the best films from this century and one of my favorites that I'd seen, and one of the better Oscar Best Picture winners. I think it's just powerful, meaningful, full of emotion. Similarities in this are that I think everyone in the cast is great. I think 12 Years a Slave has a very ensemble cast that all deliver incredible performances. They both have Hans Zimmer on the score, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Both Hans Zimmer. So maybe Hans Zimmer and Steve McQueen just bros, because I mean Hans Zimmer and a World War II film kind of go hand in hand. But I remember 12 Years a Slave is kind of a more surprising Hans Zimmer score. That's kind of where the similarities end. It just didn't really feel like it had much emotion. Like when the emotion was trying to hit, it didn't feel earned for me. I know other people take it differently. I'm definitely lower on this than most people, but I don't see a ton of people absolutely loving it. But anytime there's supposed to be like an emotional, impactful scene, especially between like the mother and son, it just didn't work for me. Whenever it's supposed to be super tense, never really felt that edge of your seat, like high stakes war atmosphere that this was trying to make you feel. And ultimately it just felt, for the type of people that say Oscar bait movies, I think this is just kind of that to a T to me, which is, odd for Steve McQueen, because I feel like he kind of got his Oscar dream with 12 Years a Slave, but this is an Apple TV Plus movie. So maybe with Killers of the Flower Moon getting like 10 nominations last year, no wins. They're trying to get back in the win column. I know they have one in the past for Coda, but I don't know if Apple TV's ever done anything else that's gotten Oscar wins. So maybe they're trying to go back for it here, because this felt very Oscar baity with commentary on racism, with obviously any war picture is inherently going to have like a little bit of like, you know, probably trying to get some awards here. Harris Dickinson is like all time guys in this movie for whatever reason. He's genuinely in it for 5 minutes. 3 of those minutes, he's just kind of like standing there and the camera pans past him. Like, is that Harris Dickinson? Oh, it is. Shit. Wow. But he really does like nothing in this. I was kind of shocked to see him in this. I feel like, you know, I don't know when this movie started to be in production, but I feel like the past couple of years, his stock has risen quite a bit to the point where you're not going to cast him just to be a guy standing on the side for 5 minutes that gets like 2 lines, but, you know, was interesting enough to see him in here anyways. But yeah, just didn't. Everything in the movie tried to do kind of failed for me. Again, just felt very Oscar baity, which isn't inherently negative, but if you're going to be a movie that's not going to move me or that I just think is kind of dull, it's going to be just even more so just on the negative side. Felt a lot like Empire of Light, and the fact that like everything that was in it is like, you're really trying to get an Oscar with like the shot right here with the scene with the words you're saying. But you know, again, I know I'm in the minority. I gave it a 2-star. It was fine. Again, if this is Oscar bait and it baits Saoirse Ronan another Oscar nomination, happy for that. But you know, Steve McQueen, this is the second film I've seen from him. Definitely, I think 12 Years a Slave is by many margins better in all respects. So that's kind of my review. Really, no spoilers.
Watch Hunger. It's better. Thank you.
Better than 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But 12 Years a Slave is also great. Just
Michael Fassbender. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess my mutuals are all 4.5 stars on that. So that's, you got to see that. But yeah, Cam, did you end up watching this?
Yeah, I did. It's ass. It's not ass, but it's I might be I don't know. It's a movie I will never watch again in my life, and I will never think about again in my life. I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie, but it's a bad movie for me. Like it's just not something I necessarily was interested by. There's some, you know, sad moments and horrific moments, but nothing that like moved me all as much as, you know, I would like in a war period drama with Saoirse Ronan, who, yeah, she's really good. I think she's really good in everything though. So I don't know if I expected more or not. If you're talking Oscar level, I mean, like I think she does just as good of a job as say like a Zendaya in Dune, who people I think say do well, but maybe not to that extent. Like just worse than everyone else. I would think of when I think of like Oscar best actress or best supporting. I'm shocked she would be best supporting in this. Like I don't know if maybe the supporting is because of what's his name? George is obviously the main character of it. But like she's pretty much the main character as well, I guess.
Well, here's like a comparison. Was Scarlett Johansson supporting for Jojo Rabbit? Because this had like very different movies, but you know, similar in the sense that it's a boy's relationship with his mother, and I think Scarlett was supporting. So maybe Saoirse's.
I think she was supporting. I think Saoirse Ronan has way more. I'd love to see the screen time comparison because I think Saoirse Ronan has way more screen time in this than Scarlett Johansson and Jojo Rabbit.
Right.
I could be
the relationship.
Yeah, no, I could. That's a great poll. I could be wrong about that. That's just my immediate takeaway. They use a lot of shots in this, like of close-ups, zoom outs, and such. I think I looked it up. The cinematographer was the same one who did Little Women. Little Women leaps and bounds better than this, in my opinion. But just another Saoirse Ronan masterclass, I'd say, because I think she's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot outside of what you said necessarily. I just honestly, it's not a movie I would really recommend. And there's no person in my life that I would recommend this movie.
Yeah,
I don't think any single normal human. I'm not saying like movie fans are not normal, but like no. Like I wouldn't mention this at a water cooler at work. I wouldn't mention this to like a buddy who's like, yeah, I'm going to see a movie tonight. What should I see? Because no one I know in my life would care for this thing at all. It's not emotional enough to get like you to just start bawling right there. It's not intense enough for you to just be locked in the entire time. I think maybe I am a little lower than you on it. I haven't scored it truly yet, but I really can't see myself above a 2.5 to maybe 1.5. Like as I talk about it, it's just not what I think is a very good movie. I guess I struggle with the, good and what I like. Cause like, I don't necessarily think they did anything wrong. I don't like it. It's not something that I'm super, in on, and something I'm super like, hell yeah, shout this out in the movie. Like nothing really there for me.
Yeah. I mean, going back to kind of like Jojo Rabbit, it does tackle maybe like a underutilized aspect of war, and that's the relationships between the families that are in the war-torn countries. Normally you're focusing on the actual members of the military fighting the war, but this is kind of more on what it does to the family life back home as your country's currently under siege. One thing I guess it does kind of well is I think it's interesting that with how like the Blitzkrieg era, I mean, obviously I didn't live through it. I would be probably not talking on this pod if I was in World War II time, but it's the uncertainty basically is what I'm trying to get at, where sometimes this movie, you're just kind of like, oh, it's just like normal life, to the sense of like, she's going to restaurants, clubs, or they're working, doing their same thing. And then all of a sudden, like the bomb sirens go off. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. I forgot. Like that's happening all the time. And I think it just kind of is a way of just that always unknowing uncertainty that just like at any time, just bombs could be dropped on you. Just like an insane way to live your life. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's a story between a mother and her son's undying love for her, and they trying to ship him off for his safety, but he would rather be with his mother and doesn't want to be being taken away to somewhere unknown and come back and find that his whole city and his mother is gone, never going to be reunited again. So he would rather take that risk and go back with his mom. Endearing story. Again, I just don't think anything really clicks enough for me to care much about it. Like you said, Cam, I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone. I think
I don't know a single person that would like be pumped for this thing.
Yeah, and it's not a bad movie at all. It's just if you want an emotional film, I could recommend you a lot better ones from this year. And then as far as a war film goes, if you're like a big like, man, I love like intense war movies, like this just really isn't going to be satisfying that for you either.
It's too character driven to be a war movie, but not dramatic enough to be a drama in my opinion.
There you go. Very well said. But yeah,
it's like,
very weird Harris Dickinson's.
I like that you mentioned him, because he was, like I do think like if I mentioned Harris Dickinson again to I don't know if anyone I know would know who Harris Dickinson is off the top of their head. Like outside of the movie world. Like if I asked my parents, hey, Harris Dickinson, does that name ring a bell at all? Like I don't think they'd recognize that name, but he's a face you kind of recognize, I feel like.
Especially nowadays. I was writing this review while watching Kansas UNC. So Harris Dickinson and Hunter Dickinson, I had to keep looking up names because I was like writing my review and I wrote like Harris Dickinson a couple times in my review. I was like, shit, is it Harris or Hunter? And I just kept getting them mixed up. But nothing really else to say there. Another phoned in Zimmer score, another Apple TV Plus miss for 2024.
I didn't realize this was Hans Zimmer. Did you say that?
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I think until I read Josiah's review. And
see, this is why Hans Zimmer is mid, because he does films like this that you just don't even realize is a Hans Zimmer score, and it's like nothing of note, really.
But
you'll know if it's oh Jesus Christ, George. Oh my God,
John Williams.
John Williams. I blanked on his name, man. I was about to say George Lucas. Oh my God!
You'll know the John Williams score because it's the same score you heard for the past 15 movies of him doing the same score.
And then they'll nominate it for an Oscar. I just couldn't think of John Williams' name. I'm drunk.
But yeah, Cam gives Blitz a half star. I give it a 2-star. So that's our reviews. No, it's just
like 1.5 to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not a fan. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna try and like rationalize and give like a recommendation to some kind of person, but no,
I don't know anyone. Like that's genuinely like my issue. Like,
I was about to say like, oh, if you're around the holidays and it's on streaming and you're like a big World War II buff though this time, I'm like, I don't even think
it's not. That's
so
where we keep going.
There's no one I can recommend this to, but at the same time, it's just not bad. So that's what we'll leave it at for Blitz.
Yeah.
George, let's do some drafts of NYC movies.
Let's draft some NYC movies.
Such a mid state, man.
New York midi.
Literally the best state ever. Hold on. We're doing a random order generator for this because there's obviously a very desirable movie on this draft list, and I don't want to be called out. You know,
I mean, there's like 28. Oh, I see what you mean. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
I mean, one of them is banned from being drafted.
No,
it's true.
It is not banned from this draft.
We banned it in like episode 3. We can't.
I think it is banned.
Where are we going around?
We're
with
banning
the morals at this point.
All right, fine. Then we won't. Then
are we
we'll
talking Spider-Verse?
I am talking Spider-Verse.
Yeah, okay, that's been banned. But
I thought it was banned from drafts that have nothing to do with like.
No, it was banned.
It's been banned from drafts. Into the Spider-Verse. When we were doing posts, it's too much of a cheat. It's too much of a cheat.
Maybe we can have it back in now.
We can have a cross Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess we don't. I think we can add it back in because now we just vote in the Discord.
Yeah, let's have it back in.
That we'll have to add.
All right, if we're adding it back in, then
do
we
the orange.
Then we're randomly generating this order.
Generate that.
Here's a question, a rule question. If I take Spider-Man 2, can George take Spider-Man 1?
I think you can, but I also feel like we should limit how many.
I think
you can take one from a franchise. One from a franchise.
Like, as in all of us can take one, or just one? Like, I can
one from a so I could take Into. You could take Spider-Man 2, but no one could take Across and Spider-Man 1.
Yes, based on I get it.
Okay, that makes it hard. Okay,
when you said franchise, I got confused. I'm like,
sorry,
only one,
not just like Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Because I'm gonna take Far From Home.
Right.
Come on, someone on Letterboxd has to have a list of like a ton of New York City movies.
Yeah, I'm just not in New York City.
My screen share real quick.
Oh, you have oh shit, nice, love it.
Yeah, I got the random wheel generator. All right. So first pick is gonna go to this is huge.
Macy's. It's gonna go to Macy's. You just doxed us.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Seth.
First pick goes to Seth.
I like the clock.
Second pick.
Wheel.
Gotta do these wheels more often.
Damn, this sucks, y'all. This sucks.
The second pick goes to George.
The wheel giveth and the wheel taketh away.
And then we got
go, fall, bitch.
And then we got Cam at the 3 and Tyler at the 4.
I don't even get any claps from you. Wow.
All right, sorry. Yay.
That's tough.
All right, what was it? Seth, George. Wow, did we already have that in order?
No. I switched it.
Oh, all right. Seth, George, Cam, Tyler, Seth. First pick in the all movies in New York draft.
I mean, I was going for a list. You got an abundance of like choices here. Like you could go for one particular director's filmography, and you could pick like anything. Really. But I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to go Spider-Man 2. Nice. I'll stay true to myself.
Good pick.
It's on your Sight and Sounds list.
It is on my Sight and Sounds list. You are right.
Movies.
Dude, people did not like my Sight and Sounds list, by the way. If you could believe it.
I'm gonna steal from
it's coming back. Hold on.
Thank you, Tom.
There you go.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm going back-to-back Spider-Mans because I'm gonna take Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean, those are the best Spider-Man movies outside of Far From Home and Across. And Spider-Man 1.
Too bad those are all not
Far From Home. Not that we'd like say no, but you could, couldn't you?
I'd say that's more DC.
No, it's
What was the question?
Where Far From Home? Well, Far From Home.
No, Far From Home is not.
Homecoming is DC. Far From Home would be.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm
sorry.
I mean,
not NYC.
Is Homecoming DC?
No, you could do No Way Home.
No Way Home. That's what I mean.
Yeah, No Way Home's New York, but no. And Far From Home's Homecoming's New York, but it's more like
movies got to take place a majority in New York.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, my mistake. My bad. I'm gonna take. Here's a shocker. I like Goodfellas. I heard that's a good movie once.
Man.
I heard the Penguins like it. So
movies.
That's why I like it because it's Penguin coded.
Oh man, I can't wait for our Penguin episodes.
George, we're gonna have to figure that out because I'm
Yeah, we are gonna have to figure that out.
You're gone next week.
We'll text post-sode. We'll text post-sode.
You guys can figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Where do we go here? Let's see. I mean, there's so many places we could go. I'll just start with a movie I recently rewatched. It's maybe the greatest movie ever, 12 Angry Men.
Oh,
Mid.
12 Angry Men for the first.
That's
first
more
night.
like courtroom.
It's in New York City.
It's in New York. It's in.
This
is- okay.
Doesn't matter. This city
I've-
doesn't matter.
I've said this on the podcast before, and I will say it. There are New York movies, and then there are movies that take place in New York.
Yeah, but that's the same thing.
So I think 12 Angry Men is just a movie that takes place in New York.
It
Whereas,
happens
like,
to be in New York.
Yeah, When
Spider-Man.
Harry Met Sally is a New York movie.
Spider-Man is in New York.
Now we're not making that distinction in this draft. Take whatever you want, but I'm just saying there is a distinction. It's a very important distinction
I like that. I like
to
that.
make.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like New York commentary with like the subway is a big element that they're trying to get out fast. They want to go to Yankees game.
Yeah, fast out of the subway. Good one. Fuck the subway.
All right. Next, we'll run it back with. I mean, again, there's like, I kind of feel like I just have to go for The Godfather, right? So
The Mid-Father.
yeah.
Which one? The first one?
You certainly don't
The
have
first
to.
is surely better than the second. So yes.
I agree.
Mid. All right, I'm gonna take this. It's not like my next highest rated, but I honestly just want to take it from Seth, and I don't even know if he's thinking about it, but he'll. It's something he'll want, but if he hears it, but I'm gonna go with Home Alone 2: Lost in New York.
Oh shit! I might have taken it like down the line. I would have taken it.
I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's number one, but I like Home Alone 2.
I respect it. That's a great pick,
season, man.
That
That's a
was
great
funny.
pick. Great pick.
I don't know why I expect you to throw out like Barry Lyndon as if that movie takes place anywhere near New York.
Barry Lyndon was filmed in New York.
Oh really?
I mean, we just talked about this movie on our real Patreon last week. I'm gonna take it. That's When Harry Met Sally.
Oh,
That is New York through and through. Everything about that movie, just the vibes of New York.
Actually, it starts in Chicago.
All right,
There you
boo. Majority of it is in New York.
I think it gives off more Boston vibes.
that's disrespectful.
The town.
Cam, do you remember your I'm a more When Harry Met Sally person. You're a more what'd you say? What was the movie?
Big Sick.
Big Sick. Yeah, I think about that
Crazy vibes.
once a week, all the time.
oh, is it me? Sorry. I'll go Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's a New York film. That is a New York film. And then, oh yeah. Oh, actually, see this is now I might venture into a certain director. That sounds weird.
Who the Russo brothers? Because Infinity War takes place in New York.
Take the Two Towers because I'm gonna take
I'm gonna go
Towers because they fell in New York.
I might go for I'll go for After Hours. That's not my favorite Scorsese film that takes place in New York, so I'll go After Hours.
Still need to see it.
It's a good movie. It's not as good as another one that takes place in New York, but they all take place
if you're
in New York.
brainless.
No, he's like half New York, half like Boston. I feel like
He does like Boston and do like money, sir.
I mean, I'll keep the Spike Lee train going.
95th.
We're doing a New York draft, by the way, not New York City. So I'm gonna take Crooklyn.
That's set in Brooklyn, and it very clearly says it's an NYC movie.
We're doing New York.
I was actually going to ask that if we could take like
anything New York.
Yeah.
Take a movie from the Hamptons if you want.
Can I take a film from York here, George? Set in York,
Old York.
Yeah.
Wait. If this actually takes, where is? One second.
I can't think of any film that takes place in York, by the way. So,
I'm gonna take for now. I'll take Taxi Driver. That's a good movie.
Taxi
That's
Mid.
New York, right?
It's a 5-star.
I gotta see where this movie's set. So okay. There is a location in New York at one. Okay.
I'll get another Sidney Lumet picture on the board. And we'll go Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh man, I was gonna pick that one. Fuck.
And then we will run it back with.
I don't know if I'm trying to win this draft because I think I'm going to take something that no one else likes.
Yeah,
I don't know, Cam. You've
Stay true
taken
to yourself.
5 stars in a row, my friend.
I'm
So,
gonna start.
Good motion pictures, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's all we do on this podcast.
You know what? We'll get it on there. We'll get challengers on the board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got one pick of most aura in these drafts.
Tyler really wants to lose this draft.
So I'm not going to pick it because it's just stupid. But Now You See Me has one location set in New York, and I really like the old Now You See
Why
Me.
was
I've
that?
never seen that film.
Because I looked up New York movies and it said, and it popped up. I am.
Seth, you've never seen that? You never seen Now You See Me?
I every time I looked it up, like I am gonna fucking hate that, so I just don't watch it.
Oh, You See Me is so good.
I'm gonna take a movie I love that most people don't / I don't know like how many people in general just like have seen it in the general populace, but The King of Staten Island, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I don't know what that is. That the Pete Davidson one?
Yeah, it's Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
like
I haven't seen it.
partially true origin of Pete Davidson. Like some things are true, some things are not.
Pete
but-
Davidson.
Some things work, some things don't.
Yeah, I think he's pretty funny. He's a funny guy.
Pete Davidson.
Dates girls.
All right, back to me. I'm gonna go. Wait. No. All right, let's throw some horror on this board. I'm gonna go with Cloverfield.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
Clover Mid.
Clover Mid, for real.
Seen it before.
Clover Peak.
I think Madam Web takes place in New York. If you guys want,
It does. Yeah, you could take it.
I think it's in
Seth,
the
it's available. Available. Does Megalopolis count as New York? Because it's like kind of New York.
Yeah,
That's actually good. That's actually
It's
a good
on the
question.
list of New York movies I'm looking at.
Yeah, it
Like, is Gotham New
technically.
York? No.
It's Gotham. Could be Gotham.
Well, technically, back in the day, New York's nickname used to be Gotham. That's why they called it Gotham City in DC Comics, because they wanted to mirror New York as closely as possible. That's where Gotham City got its name.
Counterpoint.
It is.
Counterpoint. Shut up, nerd. Sorry.
I'm just throwing it out there,
You taught me something today. I
It's up
appreciate
to
that.
Seth.
I do live in Gotham City. That's the point I
I'm
was
gonna
trying to
take.
make.
What's the
Okay.
movie that ends with Robert Pattinson in the towers? Just
Remember Me?
Oh, what's that movie called? Remember Me?
Yeah.
Right. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of pocket ending, man.
Oh man, that's funny. Seth, come on.
Hello. I'll go shout real Patreon whenever it was. I'll go with Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way will be next pick. And then I will also go for I might venture to George's biggest L, or at least one of his biggest L's.
Wait, don't tell me. Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Peak. You are
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Eyes Wide. I need to revisit that movie.
Fair.
At least we're looking inwards.
I listen. I think I mentioned this on the podcast. The day I watched Eyes Wide Shut, I think I was in the worst mood I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
Fair. Sad.
Still mid. Back to me. I got movies I want that I'm confident you guys won't probably take. So for my next pick, I'm going to go with Past Lives. If you guys will give me Past Lives, 50-50.
Why
Definitely,
did
definitely.
not get Past
I
Lives?
don't know.
Well, because it's like 50-50 between New York and Korea.
I'd say it's like 60-40, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, you're
It's just like a
Alright.
New York movie.
In-
It's all about
yeah.
moving to New York.
It is. You're so right.
Whereas, like, I'm seeing like Secret Life of Walter Mitty on this list. That's not a New York movie.
No.
His
that's not New
No.
York.
brother is gone for that whole time.
Yeah.
A movie I enjoy. I think the general population enjoys. I'm going to go with American Psycho.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one.
Yep. Yep.
I think-
definitely.
Great one.
See, I previously would have said New York movie. I mean, I previously would have said a movie that takes place in New York.
New York. Yeah, no,
But
totally.
that is
Okay.
a New York movie.
Past Lives is a movie that takes place in New York. I don't think it's super New Yorky.
I mean, it's got
New York.
Past Lives is very New Yorky.
Past Lives,
New
like the
York.
way, like the walks they have and stuff with the backdrop. I think it's very New Yorky. You know?
Very
It's just
New York.
beautiful. It's just
Mhm.
gorgeous.
Fine.
I will go with next. I just had it, and now I'm looking through my list. Where did it go? Well, first I'll just start off. I'll go Black Swan, and then I'll run it back with.
I didn't even know that was in New York. Honestly, I forgot.
Yeah, a lot of these I don't know, and then I look
Yeah.
at the plot and it's like, oh, New York City. Oh, okay.
New York for sure.
If it's a big city, I guess safe bet it's probably gonna be New York. And then
True.
I'll go movie I almost pressed play on the other night. Like I was so close, and I'm probably happy I didn't. But Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Ooh. I need to rewatch that. I haven't
I
seen
actually
that
forgot that was
movie
in
in
New York, to be honest.
years.
I'm going to take a movie that I like. Again, we're not going, super 5-star, incredible movie. But
You
a-
have to start
really-
saying your picks with more courage, Cam. have
Tick Tick Boom. I just
Yeah.
I like.
That's a good movie.
I like Tick Tick Boom a lot. I'm just saying I'm not picking. I'm not.
You need
picking,
to own this shit.
Say it
I'm
with
not
your
picking,
chest.
Say it with your chest, pussy.
Popular fan voting movies right now. I don't think, except like my first three, obviously.
Except Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, yes, of course. That actually might have more pull than into
That genuinely,
I don't
I
know.
think it
People
does.
don't love Home Alone 2, man. People think
No,
it's
people
great.
love
They
Home
don't-
Alone too.
People
You're
love Home
on
Alone. A lot of people
correct.
think Home Alone 2 is bad. Honestly, Home Alone is
That's whack. Home Alone's good. Home Alone 2 good.
Is it
Oh,
me?
it's
Yeah,
back,
sure.
back to me. I mean, Francis Ha's got to be on my board.
I was
Obviously,
waiting for you to take that. I almost took you.
Yeah, I was
I
waiting
hadn't
for
seen
you
it.
to say that.
Yeah, I
I'm so
honestly, I'm just
intrigued.
like I'm sifting through like my favorites list and just trying to pick out which movies take place in New York. And for some
We should
reason,
do
I'm
this with an
scrolling past
Indiana draft.
What
Fault in Our
movies?
Stars first pick.
Who's your second pick? And then we're just sitting here for 10 more rounds. Just shame. I think we should do it. There's a lot of movies that like have Purdue. If you any movie with
Any movie that just mentions Indiana.
any movie that has like Neil Armstrong around, like you just say it's
Yeah,
Purdue.
First Man. There you go.
First Man. There, yeah, that's all we need.
Seth back to back.
All right, I'll take Ghost Dog, The Way of Samurai. You guys need to get on that. Amazing film. And then, this is a tricky one.
Sorry, I'm seeing the best movie to come out of Indiana is Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
It's kind of a banger, though, to be fair. So.
Oh yeah, shout out
That
Indiana.
is a banger.
And
You,
then,
you Google best Indiana movies, and it's just a million Indiana Jones links.
That's fun.
That's how trash your state is.
That's good stuff. Shout out Indiana Jones.
and then I'll take. This is in New York. Rear Window. I'll take Rear Window. I'm pretty sure that's New
Nice.
York. Is that New York?
It's
Yeah,
on
it's
my
in-
New York list. So yes.
Greenwich Village. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Greenwich
Greenwich Village.
Village.
George.
Greenwich. Back to me. I am gonna go. I want this on my board because I think it's a really fun movie. So I'm gonna take Men in Black.
Hell
That
yeah.
is a really fun
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Absolute banger.
I don't know if I've
I
ever
need to
said this.
rewatch that, actually.
I had Men in Black 3 on like pre-downloaded on an iPod when I was younger, and I watched that shit religiously.
That's kind of sick.
Men in Black
Men in
3.
Black 3 was
is,
good. I like
that one. He has like the villain has like the little hand shooter thing. And yeah, I always thought that was sick as hell. Number 7, or my 7th pick, I'm gonna go with Barry Jenkins' underrated If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, good movie.
Underrated just because everyone talks Moonlight. If Beale Street Could talk, just as good.
No,
Just-
everyone talks The Lion King.
that's low key.
To be fair, actually, no.
Coming up.
Who
Gray.
the fuck is talking the
Gray.
lion?
I'm talking Lion King.
Mufasa. Did you see
Mufasa.
the most recent trailer has them say there can only be one lion? King?
Yeah, we.
It's Leo meme. They said the thing. They did the thing.
Did not know Beale Street Could Talk was in New York. I just always assumed. I haven't seen it. I always assumed it was in Memphis, where Beale Street is. More
He
New
was in
York.
New York. Great movie.
Me. I will go with another Greta Gerwig acted movie, like Frances Ha, Mistress America. It just became just a fast comfort movie of mine.
That's a 5 for you, right?
It is indeed.
Good movie.
And then should we just go back to back Greta Gerwig and just run it back with Little Women?
Yeah, damn,
Little
I forgot
Women.
about Little Women, actually.
It's almost like peak Little Women time of year. So
Little Women.
Holdovers, Little Women, get ready for
the Holdovers just joined the Million Watch Club
which surprised me because didn't that make like 2 nickels at the box office? And
yeah, but people like it. It's like a film Twitter one. It's a film Twitter movie. Maybe
Letterboxd
it again, so I'll be watching.
Letterboxd posts those like movies that have just hit 1 million things on LinkedIn, and I think that's the funniest thing in the world.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, like that is just not.
People use LinkedIn so wrong.
Yeah,
I hate LinkedIn, man.
Letterboxd uses LinkedIn like it's like Twitter.
That's funny. My number 8. I'm gonna go with a movie that doesn't get enough respect because every movie afterwards in this franchise is horrific.
Wait,
yeah, hold on.
That's a good one.
One good movie in a franchise.
Star Wars. No, what the fuck?
Star Wars. Yes.
My bad.
Good movie.
New York.
Everything
Star
else
Wars. Star Wars.
sucks.
New York.
Wait, no, I'm actually. Can you give me like a decade when it released?
No, I think that'd give it away, but it's a very famous New York franchise. I feel like
that would give it away. Just saying a decade.
It's like older. It's older.
That you're older.
No, it's pre-2000s.
I'm stunned.
Is
great.
I'm a bit stunned.
I really like Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters really good. Everything at Ghostbusters 2 immediate drop off. And then everything since that they've made is truly atrocious. So shout out Ghostbusters though. I like it.
Come, I have to say you have Ghostbusters Afterlife at a 4-star. I remember this.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you really?
This was like the original moment. I remember this.
Has anyone here even watched Frozen Empire yet?
No. I see it on Netflix all the time scrolling through. I'm like, should I? Even though I've never seen another any Ghostbusters.
One of those movies I gotta go rewatch. I don't lower my score if I haven't watched, but like I might have gotten out of it and been like, that was really good. But
can we by the way, now that did we ever talk Dee Dee on this podcast?
No,
I haven't seen it,
but I will now that it's released on VOD. Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's on streaming now. We should
we need to
watch it and talk because I think that's a good one to talk.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I gotta watch Ghostbusters. That's embarrassing.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take Uptown Girls, starring Brittany Murphy and Dakota Fanning.
Uptown Girl. I don't know what that is.
It's a great movie. It's a fantastic film.
Didn't you watch this like 2 days in a row? I remember this.
Yeah, I watched this. I watched this back to back. I watched it initially and was very surprised that I liked it. I gave it a 4-star. Made me cry. And then I rewatched it the very next day because Victoria wanted to watch it. And I was like, damn, this movie is so good. And I bumped it up to a 4.5. And now it's on my favorites list because it's so good. I think about this movie all the time.
Nice.
Back to back.
Is it me? Oh, sorry.
It's back to back for Seth.
Tyler, remember?
I'll go Billy Wilder's The Apartment. I'll go The Apartment. Great film. Didn't we review that? I think we reviewed that on Patreon.
Yeah, I think me and you did.
Yeah, we did. And then I will also go for Raging Bull. Raging Bull. Back to Scorsese, Raging Bull, which we also reviewed like ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ages ago.
That was before they were Patreon exclusive.
That was YouTube. Yeah, that was like one of the first ones.
It was a while ago.
All right, George.
All right, I have 2 more picks. Oh, that's nice. I thought I had 1 more pick. I was getting antsy. I mean, I'm gonna go. Fuck. You know what? Oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Royal Tenenbaums. I think.
Good movie.
I think I've had that movie on my mind enough to warrant it in my draft. That was a good movie.
This is a movie that I like. I just haven't seen it in a while, so I need to see if the location is truly New York. It very much is. Marriage Story is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
forgot that
one of
was,
those that popped up on the New York list, and I'm like, I don't remember this. It could have been any city that has plays. And then
No, not you yet.
oh shoot, yeah, I forgot. My mistake. Sorry.
Let's see. I mean, there's still so many other options. I guess a lot of movies do indeed take place in New York.
Hell of movies.
I'll go next. I'll go with another Greenwich Village film inside Llewyn Davis.
Damn it.
And then I will wrap up my draft with. Should I just tank any potential for votes in my final pick?
I thought about it because I have a pick.
And take what?
I'll do it. Let's tank, Cam. Let's go. The Happening. Tank my chances for votes. But it's 4.5 for me, so I'm being true.
All right, that's fine. I'll tank as well with you. I'm going to go with the Avengers.
No, that's
not
a tank, dude.
I mean, it's not a tank, maybe, but I think for our audience, it is.
No, we've got a lot of
MCU. I think that's
MCU fans. I think just when I make votes, I think it's a bit of a tank. I could be wrong. But I mean,
by the time people get to number 10 on the list, they don't pay attention. Anyway. It's really your first 3 picks, pretty much, is what's going to be determining.
The
George, final pick.
Final pick. Damn, now I feel pressure to tank. Fuck. Let me see. Let me look up New York lists and see what I have lowest rated.
Then again.
Bohemian Rhapsody. That says that's
I can't. That's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad of a movie to throw on my list.
Take one of the Fantastic Fours.
Take Sex in the City, George.
This says draft day as a New York City, but how is that not just a Cleveland?
No, that's Cleveland for sure.
Yeah, that's certainly not American. I mean,
Elf?
New York. Ooh, Elf could be a fun pick.
Elf's so good. Elf is good. Take Elf. Take it.
Hold on.
Shut up, Seth.
Shut up. Chill out with that, dude.
New York?
Chill the fuck
John Wick
out.
apparently is New York, from what I'm being told, according to
I don't even think this is tanking. I think this is a good movie. I'm gonna take The Other Guys.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. That movie.
The Other Guys is so good. Michael Keaton's little bit the entire time. DLC songs is so good.
Did you really? You just said creep twice, and you're not making a reference.
He shot Jeter.
You should have shot Adon. That movie is so good.
It's classic. It's classic.
I feel pressured to pick something. Oh, I'll pick Madagascar. That takes in Central Park.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to take a Madagascar.
Madagascar, the first one.
I like these last picks. These are good.
These are fun last picks. See, dude, New York is so sick. Look at all these movies.
Indiana next year.
We could do a 20-round draft and we'd still be going.
We could.
All right, New York movies.
Board.
What?
Surprised Seth didn't get click on his board.
Oh,
Is it shit?
Allegedly,
New York.
Yeah. Is it?
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
It's on the New York list I'm looking at. That's
genuinely don't even know the last time I watched Click.
Allegedly, Over the Hedge takes place in Indiana. So we could get that.
That's not a flex.
Well, okay. Next episode, ReelTok episode 116. We're going to do a 1-round draft of Indiana movies.
The Long Haul takes place in Indiana, apparently. We're kind of cooking, everybody.
Indiana. I will not stand for this misrepresentation of Indiana.
I have a claim to make, and that's fuck Rudy. Rudy sucks. I hate that guy. Just my thing to say right now.
All right, Seth took Spider-Man 2, Do the Right Thing, After Hours, Carlito's Way, Eyes Wide Shut, Ghost Dog, Way of Samurai, Rear Window, The Apartment, Raging Bull, and Madagascar. I took Into the Spider-Verse, When Harry Met Sally, Crooklyn, Cloverfield, Past Lives, Francis Ha, Men in Black, Uptown Girls, The Royal Tenenbaums, and The Other Guys. Cam took Goodfellas, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Taxi Driver, The King of Staten Island, American Psycho, Tick Tick Boom, If Beale Street Could Talk, Ghostbusters, Marriage Story, and The Avengers. And Tyler took 12 Angry Men, The Godfather, Dog Day Afternoon, Challengers, Black Swan, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Mistress America, Little Women, Inside Llewyn Davis, and The Happening. What a way to ruin your draft, Tyler. You ruined it with your 4th pick, and then you made it even worse with your 10th pick. Trash. But that'll conclude New York draft, and we got some pretty big news stuff going on this week. Biggest news coming out just yesterday is that Anne Hathaway and Zendaya are joining Christopher Nolan's new film alongside already confirmed Matthew Damon and Thomas Holland.
R.I.P. Peter. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Did
what
she
was that?
In the 5 minutes.
What was that about?
Headline reported it, and then they retracted it like half an hour later or some shit.
Yeah,
I go in there. She's good.
She's still in talks, and like,
how did they get it wrong? Yeah, it must be talk. They can't be like a random.
Yeah, what do they just pick a name out of a hat?
Jeff Snyder or whatever, just throwing out random takes.
Yeah,
but like Lupita was like, that's a big casting
character she did.
Yeah, it was weird.
But yeah, I mean, Zendaya and Anne Hathaway, that's huge news. Anne Hathaway's obviously worked with Nolan before on twice, Interstellar, as well as The Dark Knight Rises. And then Zendaya, I said this in my TikTok video. This is like the ultimate, like, what's a director-actor duo you'd like to see eventually? And I feel like Nolan Zendaya is just like something a lot of people are like itching for. Nolan's just the people guy.
They're online. It's really bad. Like, I hate her.
Really? I mean,
regardless, post about it. Every comment is like, she's so overrated. You can't.
Whether you hate her or love her, there's no denying she is the biggest Hollywood pull right now. Her and Timmy gotta be top 2.
Shout out ReelTok Podcast pinned post on TikTok.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
I really like, I really like Tom Holland, but he's starting to turn into a person I got to start hating, because he's Spider-Man. He's dating Zendaya. He gets to act with her in all of his movies. He gets to work with the best directors, get billions of dollars for everything he does.
He's a nice person as well, which doesn't help. Like,
yeah, I'm starting to hate Tom Holland. He's like the Jalen Hurts of movies, where everyone's like, oh, look at me, I'm hot and really good at football. Yeah, screw you, Tom Holland. Being hot, good actor.
Fuck that guy for him.
Now he's going to be a good actor working in good shit as well, hopefully. Yeah. So, like,
hopefully.
What was the other thing?
He always was in Spider-Man.
Was he doing something else recently as well?
Yeah, Spider-Man 4.
Stop.
No.
I'm not kidding. That's what you're thinking of.
Bro, Blu-ray Angel is kind of cooking.
He was cast alongside. I know.
Sure, I saw some
maybe alongside Austin Butler in something.
Yeah, it was Austin Butler. Edgar Wright's new movie.
Yeah,
The Running Man. Look at us. We just freaking what's word where there's like you fill in the blanks of words. We just did that together. We just
collaboratively Running Man though.
Unlock that question. Is it not
Running Man?
No, American Speed. So you knew it was something about movement. The Running Man's
a Edgar Wright movie though, right?
Len Powell.
I think so.
Yeah, The Running Man's Edgar Wright with Len Powell. Yeah.
Big news, big Nolan news. We also got Nosferatu early reactions.
Absolutely, screw you people for seeing it.
Yeah, I didn't even know early screenings were being shown this early.
I think it was like a critic.
Doesn't the movie come out in like Christmas?
Right?
For you, it's Christmas. For us, it's like 2 weeks after.
It's like the most universally positive early reactions I think I've ever seen for a movie.
Dude,
I don't think
people are all.
No, I think Dune was like that for me. Like
people are already saying Nosferatu, scariest movie since The Shining, and I need people to stop with that level of overreaction.
Also,
why is The Shining the bar?
Shining's not scary.
That's always what I go to.
No, but Shining was scary.
Shining is scary.
I mean, also, like, I bet you that quote is from that guy who did the Gladiator 2 review.
He has costumes.
This film has costumes
and sound.
It's The Shining so buzzy of a name.
That's probably why, isn't it?
I don't want to hear anything that's
comparisons of these sort of things.
This movie's the scariest since X. I don't even care if they said this movie's the scariest since like fucking Long Legs. Like, don't say that at all.
This film's the scariest since Heretic.
It's unrealistic expectations. Now the discourse is going to be annoying because people are going to be like, "Oh, everyone's calling this the scariest movie since The Shining. It's fucking stupid." A
lot of comparisons to Coppola's Bram Stoker's too.
Yeah,
the best.
Yeah, you can mark it without the scary terms. You can mark.
Yeah, it's so annoying, man. But Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 delayed 3 months.
Boo.
Dude, I swear this movie was supposed to come out in 2023.
It was early
I swear.
2024, I think, or maybe
it was January of this year, but it keeps getting delayed. This one's weird though, because usually I feel like films don't get delayed after because this is like the last month at least. Mickey 17 has been like prominently a trailer before every movie.
Yeah, we have trailers and
stuff. I feel like by the time you get to that, where it's like in theaters playing the trailer 24/7,
you can't delay it.
You don't delay it
unless
there's some
behind the scenes that they're not telling us. Like maybe secret early reactions were so bad that they need to like reshoot things and they just don't want to tell us that. But like,
Warner Brothers, man,
dude,
I think they should just release it now.
That's let us give it to ReelTok Pod. We'll
send it to ReelTok.
We'll give it a glowing endorsement, man. James Gunn says a Joker series starring Barry Keoghan is not in the works. I think we knew that. Nothing was confirmed. I think people were just like
it wasn't even like discussing film or any like notable source was like
people are just like, oh, the Penguin is so successful, let's keep it going with Barry Keoghan and the Joker. It's like
that would be like the dumbest idea. That'd be so fucking weird.
I think that'd be a great idea.
I think it'd be a good. I think he'd
weird. I don't know.
Because then at the end,
the same shit as Penguin, man.
Yeah, and also at the end of the Batman, he's in Arkham, and even the deleted scene, he makes it clear that like he and Batman have been adversaries for like a year now. Yeah. So like give us a series of that year.
I think people just like to hate on Barry Keoghan's Joker because he's like twisted.
Yeah, he's a guy. I liked his iteration. I mean, we've got nothing of it so far. But
I think Barry Keoghan is a good enough actor to do really well with it.
He's great. I just don't know if I care about
this kind of a system role at this point. So I think anyone could do it.
God, Seth is so Clayface pilled. He doesn't even like Joker anymore.
It's coming, man. It's
crazy.
Dude, it's crazy. There was no like actual rumors. It just like started running wild.
Yeah,
it's the same. Like Jeff Snyder's like that, and I don't think he came up with this rumor, but he's like the opposite Blu-ray Angel, and it's just like because he did the whole thing yesterday where it's like here in Euphoria season 4 has been canceled and scrapped, and like an hour later like HBO like quickly scrambled to reply and be like, I don't know what this dude's talking about, like we're literally filming this in like 2 months. He just says shit, but at least when Blu-ray Angel does it, he's more based about it.
Shut up, Blu-ray Angel. George, when do you think we're getting a Superman trailer? You think we get it Christmas?
Dude, everyone keeps saying this year, and
6 months out is pretty like normal.
When does the movie release? July?
June.
Then maybe Christmas.
I think January.
Like if you think,
James Gunn is just so annoyed. He's responding to like every single tweet that's asking him, and he just keeps hitting us with the eye emoji.
He says things when things aren't the case, though. I like that. He's just like, no, this isn't true. He just shuts down.
He responds to every single thread.
Yeah, he's a big
guy. He does not use Twitter. Every tweet I see from him is just like a picture of his thread tweet. I'm like, who is using this? Like, of course, anyone asking questions is getting a reply. He's the only person on earth using this app. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, we should have.
I think it could like a Christmas Superman. Oh man,
tweet about it like December or something. Maybe
he doesn't know. He's guessing.
Yeah, I mean.
No, but like I thought it was actually news that it was.
We got the first trailer for Matt Reeves' The Batman May of 21.
Didn't that come out?
And then it came out like 2 years later. No, we got it at
February 22.
Comic-Con. We got it at
it wasn't Comic-Con. It was DC's Fandom.
Yeah, DC Fandom. We got the initial teaser. We got the initial teaser a long time ago, but we got the first official trailer like May, I think.
And then it came out in like March or February.
And then it came out in like February of 23.
22.
Sorry. Yeah.
So what? What is that? 6 months?
More.
More. Like 8.
Yeah. Okay. And like I think to build the hype, I think you need 6 months at least.
Yeah.
A Christmas trailer would go hard. Nosferatu previewed by Superman. If they just tag it with, that would be the craziest.
I mean, both have Nicholas Hoult in it. Works.
There we go.
True. Yeah. True. It does work.
Tyler helping us out.
Damn, man. Nicholas Hoult kind of going off recently.
Mm-hmm. I need to watch Jura.
Yeah, I still need to watch Jura. I
liked how you said that, Seth.
Jura.
I can't say Jur.
Yeah, like it's just a like it's juror here, but like juror,
yeah, tough.
like juror Mormont.
Juror.
We got a bunch of Disney news that we can kind of fly through. They had D23 and
one that you don't have listed here that I just want to make note.
Which one?
Just got like today, a couple minutes ago, or maybe an hour ago. Andor season 2 release date, April.
Let's go.
April 22nd. Hell yeah.
No, stop.
Andor's good.
Andor is genuinely the
Did I
best.
watch it? Is it good?
Yeah, Andor's one of those, Seth, that you'd like. Andor's like it's like a Goodfellas in Star Wars. If you've ever heard that.
Didn't Doug say? I think Doug
That's
says
a crazy thing.
the best thing Star Wars has done is Andor.
For sure.
It's the best. It's the best live action thing Star Wars has done since like Empire Strikes Back.
What?
Mandalorian better.
No, I think
how good this actually is. Maybe I should.
It genuinely is. It's also like there's not a single lightsaber, Seth. So like you don't even have.
I like lightsabers.
Oh, I do too. I'm just saying you don't even have to think of it as a Star Wars show.
I'm a Star Wars guy now.
The thing that sells Andor is the like episode. It starts a little slower, but the episodes 6, 7, 8 maybe like the episodes with Andy Serkis in the prison, like that stretch is so good. And then after that, it all of a sudden turns into like one of the best shows ever. Like
it's Ferguson as well.
It's pretty good up until then, but after that, it really kicks it on. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it, man.
Yeah.
Like
I stand by. I think it's the best season of live action Star Wars television, and I do love The Mandalorian. You know how much I love The Mandalorian and Clone Wars.
Better than Wanda, George?
Better than what?
Better than Wanda?
WandaVision?
Like
that's not Star Wars.
That's not Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars.
I thought you said Wonka at first.
Wanda is Star Wars. No?
All right. Other D23 news. The Incredibles 3 has begun being written. I didn't know we were getting Incredibles 3.
We had this news. It
was confirmed a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that. No, it's not. I'm not too high on like the Incredibles 2. So
I like Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2, I think, is just okay for me.
Yeah, it's fine. It is a fine movie. It's
the screensaver when he pops out when he has that like when he's standing behind her, crazy. Awesome.
Dude, I remember I think we've had this conversation on this podcast before, but I love bringing this up because it's still just such like a funny like movie memory. Before screenings of Incredibles 2, they literally had like signs around the theater that says like, if you're sensitive to light or flashing, do not see this movie because it may cause seizures.
Yeah, because it has that one scene of flashing.
Yeah, light. Which is just crazy.
Shout out the Screenslaver for having all-time name like Screensaver. That's a good name. Good play on words.
Good villain name.
That's all I got for it.
We talked about it earlier briefly, but we got the official Mufasa trailer. We had a teaser, but this was the. Did we have a full trailer or a teaser?
We had a trailer, didn't we?
They call it a teaser, and it's like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
the final Mufasa trailer. That's what we'll call it. Final Mufasa trailer. Do we have? I mean, we've talked about Mufasa. I feel like we've been talking about this for like 2 years.
It can never make me hate you.
I love the tweet was so made me laugh. That was like the Lions got Ozempic because they're all just like they look weird, man. They look weird.
That's funny.
Nothing. I don't know. The trailer didn't make me less excited, but my excitement level was also probably at like a 3 out of 10 to begin with.
So you're saying there's
Zootopia 2, we got a first look at. I really like Zootopia 1 a lot, but this is not like I'm not upset at a sequel. This isn't like I wish we didn't have like it was such a good one-off. This is like an animated world I actually want to explore. Because I think Zootopia just like that land alone is just fun. Like
Zootopia is good, but like it'd be sick and epic if we had any of this news not be a sequel.
Yeah,
just put the slop on the tray.
This is all slop.
I agree.
This is the sloppiest of slop. This is Kevin Malone's.
They should just call it Slop 23.
Double hand scooping it into your mouth. This is Slop 23.
That's what it should be called.
That was funny. more slop. We got a Tron Ares. We just got the logo. There's literally nothing.
Didn't we get all of this at their last thing like a few months ago?
No. We got additional casting news the last time they spoke about it.
And Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross was in
yeah.
They all just
never got the logo. But
they
just here's the thing. They like throw a bone. They always do D23 Brazil. They do things to throw a bone. They'll give a logo. They'll give a first look. They'll play a trailer for something we already have. But it's like, it's nothing major. You're not going to get a new they're not going to bring RDJ out on stage to do a new like Doomsday post or something like that. You know, they're not going to do that at D23 Brazil. But
yeah, I think people's excitement level for Tron Ares is like kind of mixed. Like Tron Legacy has a very big cult following. Unfortunately, no one likes Jared Leto, so that doesn't help their campaign at all.
Kind of a weird guy.
We also got Lilo and Stitch live action first look.
I think he looks good.
Dude, it didn't look bad.
He looks like really good. Like for live
bad.
action mixed with like CGI, it looks
really
terrible.
It really didn't look bad. Again, nothing more we could really say about that. And then some Star Wars news. Episodes 10 to 12 are reportedly in the works. That's fine. I don't think anyone expected like us to not get a Star Wars trilogy eventually. The absolutely horrendous thing is that Simon Kinberg is writing them. Let me take you through some things he's written. He's written the 355. He's written Dark Phoenix. He's written X-Men Apocalypse. He's written the 2000. He wrote Fan Four Stick. He did write Days of Future Past.
At least give him Days of Future Past.
So
he's batting a hunt. He's batting
he's not. 100. He wrote the worst of the OG X-Men trilogy, The Last Stand.
Yeah.
He has been a producer on a
lot of shit too.
But he was a producer on Logan, The Martian, Deadpool, Chappie.
You can't read into production like credits too much stuff.
Just means he has money.
Yeah, that's true. But like his writing credits are tough. He also wrote
First Class.
He was a writer on Star Wars Rebels, which I mean I don't mind Rebels, but it's certainly not one of the better Star Wars shows.
He wrote Sherlock Holmes. That's interesting. Well, not Sherlock Holmes, but the guy
the Downey Jr. one.
So I saw a tweet that said he was the writer of XXX State of the Union. Genuinely, like when I saw that, I thought it was like pornography or something. I didn't realize it was like, I was like, oh, this is where he came from. That's awesome. And no, but it's State of the Union. The XXX, I think that's what's his name, the Fast
Vin Diesel, isn't it?
No, this I'm looking at it now. This is not Vin Diesel.
No, that might be the sequel to it. He was in the original. I'm sure he was.
This one's Ice Cube.
Yeah, and a sequel to 2000.
Willem Dafoe's in this movie.
Yeah, Ice Cube and Willem Dafoe. That is a crazy lineup.
That's crazy.
Holy shit.
Man. Yeah,
currently
we could be in for an all-time bad.
We got Ryan Johnson.
But he was a creative consultant on Star Wars The Force Awakens. He got a thanks.
What does that mean?
It literally says in the Wikipedia that he got a quote thanks credit.
Nice. Bring up Ryan Johnson.
Okay, so he's done nothing. But yeah, bad news on the Star Wars upcoming trilogy with that writer. Paul Mescal is in talks to star in Ridley Scott's next film, The Dog Stars. Obviously, he's just ripping out movies. Cam, what are we doing?
Sorry, that was my crotch.
He kills me every time he does that.
Stare.
Nice little plate of food.
What were you eating?
I was eating pancakes.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't had pancakes in a minute. Yeah, Ridley Scott's just
start eating a lot more pancakes when you.
Dude, is Ridley Scott a slot master? My man drops 2 movies a year.
Crotch,
he is now in Gladiator 2, like technically qualified, isn't it? So
yeah, true.
And he's going to do the 3rd one apparently. So that is like reaching.
Oh my god. Speaking of Ridley Scott, so news dropped this week that he basically says he's going to start embracing AI. And he says, quote, you can have done in a week what Jesus Christ, I cannot read because he can't speak English. You can have done in a week what would take 10 guys 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the ultimate, like,
yeah, that's like the whole point of like why
to not
you
use
shouldn't use it.
but what I was going to get at, this is the biggest, like, no one on Twitter reacted to this news because, like, it's Ridley Scott, and that shit bugged the fuck out of me.
I saw some people like
I
react.
did
also
not see
didn't
one
like,
person we follow quote tweet that, talk about it. Like, this is the ultimate, like, he gets a pass because he's Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm. Ridley Scott's just the all-time guy that, you know, he's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel flicker a bit. He's starting to occupy some brain space. So he's just firing the chamber. He's like, Gladiator 3, Napoleon 2, every single movie ever. I'm making all of these, and plus I'm going to use AI so I can get it all done. He's just
does a good job. I think he's going to always have that, like, just don't care.
I understand pushing the bounds on technology, but like that is entirely why like AI is a problem, like for movies specifically, and a lot of things, but like just
bypassing human,
bypassing creativity, like it's
for just time constraints.
Yeah, just
you know, because of this news, only because of this news, I will not be watching the Napoleon extended cut to voice my protest.
Nice.
I was never going to watch the Napoleon extended cut, regardless.
Okay, have you seen Napoleon, George? Because
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't even seen the regular cut of Napoleon.
Well, then actually, you're in a position to watch the director's
no reason to ever watch the theatrical. Then, if you're ever gonna watch it direct.
Isn't the director's cut like 6 hours?
No, it's like 3.5.
I think.
That's how long Zack Snyder's Justice League is.
Yeah, man. But that's a good movie, dude.
Okay.
That's a good movie, dude. I started watching that last night before I threw on some Fed highlights. I was watching Zack Snyder's Justice League a little bit.
Disgusting.
Stop. It's so, dude. It is. It's so good. You know, we live in a society.
Kick back with some ZSJ.
Chad Stahelski reveals a documentary about the making of the John Wick movies is in the works. That's cool. I would love to see how these movies are made. They're obviously, I think that's the best action franchise we've ever seen. So I would love, you know, just.
Hey.
Yes, it is.
If man, hand to hand.
No, I would take John Wick. I love it, man.
Raid.
Yeah, I would still take John Wick.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
I mean, now you're also comparing a 4-movie franchise to a 2-movie franchise in the Raid.
Fast and Furious?
Now you're cooking.
Now you're cooking.
Transformers, you know?
Transformers is better. Transformers is more fun.
I actually do think Transformers is a better franchise than...
No, you don't.
I think Transformers has higher highs than John Wick.
I don't, but purely because I'm lower on both franchises than most people. So both mid. John Wick mid. This continues to prove my statement last week. It's slop.
I mean, John Wick. John Wick is
you're just an action hater.
After TV show, but it's still good.
Oh wait, what TV show?
Did you watch it?
Continental, and then
I saw
I guess it's not a TV show, is it? I always thought it was, but no, it's a movie.
Is it?
What
yeah.
is?
Yeah, Ballerina's movie, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's a movie.
Yeah.
No, but aren't they doing some sort of TV show spin-off as well?
I think they are with
Donnie
Yen's daughter.
Yeah. That's the one.
Slop.
Ballerina is a film.
Yeah, slop, no doubt.
Wait, are we sure? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ballerina is
I thought Ballerina was a
sequel to Knock Knock.
I thought it was could be. I thought it was a show too. It might have started.
Yeah,
Ballerina is a film, isn't it?
It's definitely
a movie.
Definitely.
You don't take Ana de Armas and put her in a TV show. That's just
I thought
let's go find an Ana de Armas TV show.
That's kind of
I mean, I think she had a huge before she was in mostly American films. I think she's like all time.
TV show.
Yeah, nothing in. She was maybe in the boarding school Las Cumbres.
I love that show.
Yeah,
really good.
Wrap us up, George.
Yeah.
That'll wrap up our episode. 2 hours and 33 minutes. I mean, that's on the shorter end of a ReelTok episode, but still got a lot done. A lot of good reviews, fun New York discussion, and a nice long chatter with the brothers I adore. As always, shout out to our executive producers, Stefan Johnson and Devin Willett. We are dropping a patron exclusive review of There Will Be Blood on Friday. Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood. So if you want to hear our thoughts, our extended thoughts on that movie, take a look at the links below and take a look at our Patreon. We got a lot to offer there. And then we're dropping on Thursday a draft, a fun little draft of our favorite streaming original movies with the rule that we could only pick one per service, Netflix, Amazon, blah, blah, blah. And then coming up, we alluded to it earlier in this episode, but we are planning on doing some sort of special or Real Talk episode for the Penguin. We don't have an entire schedule or plan set. Obviously, the four of us will discuss when we want to record that and when we want to drop that or what our plans are for that. But I think right now, next week, confirmed is likely going to be Red One and Emilia Perez.
So going to see Red One.
Such a light week. We should just do Penguin and Batman in that episode.
Yeah,
Amelia
No
Perez.
one cares about Red One.
Or
Yeah,
Amelia Perez.
Reading through it, I think that would just be the better idea.
Penguin to drop off, guys.
We'll talk about it.
I'm not marketing a
Release
Red
it on
One
Monday or
episode.
Tuesday.
Let's bring in our audience. Let us know in the comments. Would you mind if we waited till next week so it would drop next Monday, a Penguin Batman episode, or do you want us to maybe speed the process up and drop an episode sometime this week immediately after the finale of the Penguin drops? I think just doing a Real Talk episode next week is fine because
we'll figure it out. I'm gone.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly.
Let me know.
But all right, that's gonna wrap up Real Talk episode.
Preemptive. I would only be on it, the Penguin one, if it's next week.
Yeah, so it'd most likely be George on this week, but all four of us next week. Yeah, I just think we're missing the cultural zeitgeist of it.
We'll talk offline. I hate that I said.
And I think we need a full episode to talk.
We'll circle back.
I'll throw something on your calendars and we'll discuss. Yeah. But yeah, that'll wrap up Real Talk episode 114. We'll see you guys on Thursday for a fun draft. Patrons on Friday for There Will Be Blood, and the rest of you guys on next Monday for Real Talk 115.
Hello.
Peace.